Right. Hello and welcome to the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020, starting 1400 hours UTC, and this is the first um, championship this year by the ISF World School Championship. And what better than chess for an online competition? Warm welcome, Chaitanya Sant, and along with me, joining me in the commentators box as our expert as well is the woman grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan. Soumya, hello.
Hello, Chaitanya. Hello, everyone. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm so excited to follow the games today. So, I think we are following the under 17 boys tournament today, which is the qualification tournament. And basically, the top 40 players from today will qualify for the finals to be held on 25th of October. So, yeah, really excited.
That's right. So yesterday we had witnessed for a good 3.5 hours the girls under 17 category, and what contests they were. 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, but they were extremely exciting, weren't they?
Yeah, it's really thrilling, especially to follow Blitz because there are so many ups and downs in the games, and all the games so it's a lot of fun to play as well as follow Blitz.
It's absolutely.
And
So that's
kids are fighting. Oh, the round has started already.
yes. Rounds have started again. We have 11 rounds lined up today, following the Swiss system format. A lot of entries. So 11 rounds. There we go with the first round, the first match, Nimbang and Arash. Over to you, Soumya.
So, yeah, the top seed of the tournament is from Iran, Arash Dagli Mamaghani. He's playing Sun Ningban. And this is a King's Indian attack setup that White has taken. And basically, the idea is to, in this setup, is for White to create an attack against the Black's king, on the king side, with h4 and the pawn on e5, and then he can bring in more pieces. And Black tries for counterplay on the queen side and the center. I think White has achieved quite a lot in this position. One good move here could be knight to e4, but then he allows knight to b3. So I think that was Black's idea, to allow the knight to b3. Yeah, maybe it was not necessary to allow this. Like maybe White could have played rook b1 first, but okay, and prevented this idea itself. But okay, I think it's still quite normal. It's quite a normal position for both sides. What would you prefer to be in? Which color would you prefer to take, Chaitanya, in this position?
As of now, if we just look at the board, I think Black, if I'm not wrong, is in a better position somewhere.
I see. But I really liked White's maneuver of going knight d2, knight c4, and going for the d6 square, which was weak and which is controlled by the e5 pawn. So I think that was a very good maneuver. And now if White allows it, then Black is going to go bishop a6 on his next move, perhaps. So White actually indirectly prevents it, because now if Black plays bishop a6, we could have taken a into b6 and then rook into a6 was hanging. And now, of course, White will go for knight d6. Oh, he didn't. He played a6 first. This is also fine. This is also a good move, I guess. And now, I don't think Black will give up his bishop. He will maintain his bishop. So he'll probably go bishop to c6. And then White goes to d6 with his knight on the next move. Somehow Black is taking too much time to make his decision. Perhaps he's thinking about taking the knight instead. Okay, he takes the knight. Yeah, I'm not. very convinced with this decision, but let's see how the game goes. Oh, he played rook a2. Okay, I was thinking about rook to a4 instead. But yeah, he basically supports the b2 pawn and he wants to take the c4 pawn next. And there is no good way to support it. So now white will take on c4 with his queen. Okay, he went knight to d2. Right, he wants to bring his other knight to c4. The only remaining knight actually to c4. White is playing really well because he has now doubled on the a file. He's targeting black's weak pawn on a7.
And he also has time left, almost a minute and
He also has
so,
more time left, and even though there is increment, the time control is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds per move. So with every move, 2 seconds get added, but still it's very hard to play with 14 seconds left on your clock. So definitely white is in command here. He went, rook to a6 is also a good move. And the knight on c4 is so strong. It is so well placed. It controls a lot of squares and it also defends the pawn on b2, which is the only target in white's position actually. So this maneuver of bringing the knight to c4 was a very good one by white. And now he brings the bishop to e4 and he'll probably, king f8, because one idea was bishop c2 and queen e4 and try to checkmate. Okay, so now maybe knight to d6 is a option, or bishop to g6. Bishop to g6. What happens for bishop to g6? Right, he did not go for that. He played bishop d3, knight b6. Okay, knight b6 can. Right, knight b6 is a good move. Exchanging that knight. I mean, offering to exchange the knight. Okay, so he wants to put his knight to c6. That's why he played bishop e4. Right, and I think, oh, fine. Okay. Maybe bishop to g6 now. Bishop to g6 now. Okay. He doesn't go for that because one option was bishop to g6, and if bishop moves, then knight to d6. Bishop c2. I was expecting rook to a8 actually. Maybe now rook to a8. No, he doesn't go for that. He wants to play queen h7 next and queen h8 mate. Yeah, I'm expecting queen h7 now. Okay, rook a8. Yeah, rook a8 also is good. Yeah, queen h7, he goes for it. And now, oh, bishop a4 is an option. Queen g8 is an option. Bishop a4, yeah, bishop a4 is probably better than queen g8. Oh my god, has white blundered? I think white was completely winning. And now also, oh wow, bishop c6 is a great move. Queen a8 and rook a7 checkmate. Wow, that is so pretty. That was such a pretty combination. That was so beautiful. Very well played by white. So he's 2400.
It was a good comeback by black as well, but eventually it was prevailed.
Yeah, black managed to defend as much as possible, but white found this wonderful idea of bishop c6. Really nice. Okay,
Yes,
so all
that's
the games
end
are
of the
over.
first round. Yes, the first round is done, and that's the standings after the first round.
Right. So there are a lot of no, somehow the score is not updated yet, I think. Yeah, because the standings, it's the initial ranking and the standings will be updated a while later. So as we can see, the top seed is from Iran, Dagli, whose game we saw just now. The second seed is from Turkey. The third one is from Armenia. Then there is an Indian player playing, Rishabh Shah. He's the 8th seed. Yesterday we did not find any games of the Indian players. Yes.
That's right. That's right. We did not. We hardly had any. Even 28th on 20 position against the Ludart.
Yeah, Siddhant Lohia.
From
Oh,
India,
I think
yes,
Siddhant Lohia is, if I'm not wrong, he actually lives in the UK. I might be confusing him with another player who's around the same age and has the same surname. But if it's him, then he lives in London and represents India, Siddhant Lohia. His sister also plays chess, so Suhani. I'm not sure if these are the same kids I'm talking about, because it's quite a common surname.
Okay. In the meanwhile, we'll just inform all our viewers on One Play Sports, the tournament details. See on your screen, wonderful graphics. Oh yeah, the first ever ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020. World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020 is an online event being held on the virtual competition platform Premium Chess. Boys and girls from 35 countries and 5 continents have participated in the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020. ISF allocated the broadcasting rights to One Play Sports. Organizations signed a partnership agreement to broadcast 3 rounds of competition, under 17 qualifications, and the finals to the One Play Sports platforms, website, Facebook, and YouTube channel. That's why you're getting live updates. And any questions, any doubts that you have, tips that you require for the game of chess, we have a woman Grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan along with it. Please shoot in your questions. These are the rules. The players are divided in categories. Under 17, that's the age group from 15 to 17 years, and under 14, that's the age group of 13 to 14 years. All tournaments will be played in the Blitz time control, which means that every player will have 3 minutes thinking time with an increment of 2 seconds per move. Qualifying tournaments will be 9 or 11 rounds, depending on the number of players, and the first 40 players will qualify. Final tournaments will be played over 9 rounds. Each tournament will start at 1400 hours UTC in the evening as per the Indian Standard Time and 2200 hours SGT. Technical meetings will be made 5 minutes to the beginning of the tournament. The TC will communicate and inform the participants about tournament information at the Premium Chess ISF playing arena.
Amazing job by ISF in conducting this tournament, and by One Play Sports and Premium Chess in organizing it and broadcasting it. So the prize fund, the winner of each category will be rewarded, and the the winner of the under 17 category will have a right to participate at ISF Summer Gymnasiad in Jiangjiang, China, which is tentatively to be held from 16 to 23rd October 2021. And they will also be awarded a laptop, which I'm sure they are all looking forward to. And the winner of the under 14 category, both boys and girls, will also have a right to participate at ISF under 15 World School Games in Belgrade, to be held tentatively from 26th of June to 4th of July 2021. And they'll also receive a lap each. So that's amazing. And the first 8 ranked players in each age and gender category will get the ISF ranking certificate, while all best finalists will get a participation certificate from ISF. Nice. So yeah, we have the standings as well now on the screen.
Yes. We have the update. It's after the.
So these are, so a lot of, I think most, there was a result on most of the boards in the first round. So we have a lot of players on full score after the first round. And there are kids from 35 countries participating in this tournament. Am I right, Chaitanya?
That's right. That's right. Yes. So
That's
35
amazing.
countries,
That's
five
a
continents. I mean, the number of participation that the ISF has received has been huge. As a result of which, we have 11 rounds of under 17 category yesterday for girls and today for boys. That's quite a lot. So that's active participation kids have sitting at home. And the best thing to do is participate in an online competition, and of course, a chance to win a laptop and a chance to get participation in the higher levels of the chess championships.
yeah, a chance to not only represent their country online, but if they well and win the whole tournament, then they can actually travel to a foreign country, either China or Serbia, depending on their age group, and represent their country at the world level, which will, I mean, it's such a great motivation for any school kid to do that.
Oh yes, absolutely. So, what was your experience of being invited or qualifying to a first international location chess tournament? So, how was it? When was
Oh.
it? What year? What was your age back then? And what was the entire experience of planning, thinking, analyzing, strategizing, going to a different place for participating in a competition?
Oh my God, it brings back so many happy memories because the first time I represented my country at an world level was at the age of 10. So I played in the under 10 world championship. And I even remember the phone call as if it happened yesterday from my federation. It was as if, I was so surprised that I was selected to represent India. And I was so excited. And the whole packing process, the first time in our family someone was going to foreign and I was going all by myself. I went all by myself, so my father was so concerned. He was in two minds whether to send me or not, and I was like, I'm going whether you send me or not. I'm going on my own. So whole visa process, because that time, it is obviously this was back in 1999. So that time the process was not as convenient as now. You have to go to Delhi 1 week before, then you have to stay there, you have to go to the embassy every day. It was very exciting, and I had 2 suitcases with me and one school bag. And one suitcase was full of food. Because my father was like, Spain, Jario, you're going to Spain. What if you don't get anything to eat? So there was so much food. It was an amazing experience, to play. So there were 11 rounds in the tournament, like same as here. And in every round, I played a girl from a different country. And, as a matter of courtesy, you exchange gifts, especially when you're a kid. You are taught this, yeah, like a matter of culture. Like when you meet someone from a foreign country or a guest, you exchange gifts with that person. So over the board, before the round, we would exchange gifts with my opponents. And I still have a couple of them with me. Like I have a postcard from one of my opponents who was from Uzbekistan, and one CD about Poland. Yeah,
Okay.
very nice. Thank you so much for asking me this
That's
question.
that's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. We'll to hear more of your experiences. We have questions coming in as well on Facebook. Pulkit Sankhala has asked us a question. We'll take that after the end of the second round, because meanwhile, second round has begun. We have each
Yes.
that's ranking 1745 taking on Isaac with the rank of 2380.
Awesome. So Can Isik is from Can Isik is from Turkey, and his opponent Alpin Ege is also from Turkey. So they are probably classmates or schoolmates. It is possible. And yeah, this was an Alakine defense. It is a tricky opening if you don't know it very well, and it's quite popular in actually blitz and rapid games. But White is playing very aggressively. He's not very concerned about the safety of his king. He has not even developed many of his pieces, like the bishop on f1, knight on g1, rook on h1 are still in their initial squares. But the rook on h1 is very well placed actually, because he's going to open the h5. He has pushed his pawn till h5, and if he'll probably even take hg6, or he will leave it at h5 and make things uncomfortable for black. So White's strategy is not to castle, leave his king in the center and play for an attack. Let's see how it works out for him. Queen d7 is a good move. He wants to probably play bishop g4 next and exchange a few pieces. At least exchange the bishop, light squared bishop, because after that the light squares around his king will be h into g6. So I think I would take h g6 here, but let's see what he goes for. Even bishop g6 seems completely normal. Yeah, and also queen d7 prevents knight h3. So he has prevented, because the one idea was to go knight h3, knight f4, or knight h3, knight g5, which is controlled by the black's bishop and queen now. So he can't go for that. So maybe he'll go for queen d2 now. Maybe he'll play queen d2 and try to play bishop h6 next. He's thinking a lot. Yeah, there is a 1 minute difference between the times actually. So black is feeling very confident, I guess. He hasn't taken much time, and he's probably very familiar with this opening. So yeah,
yes, White has
he's
taken
feeling
almost
good.
half a minute here somewhere, almost half a minute.
Yeah. Knight f3. So now black can actually go knight g4, but then white goes bishop d4. That is an option. Or black can, yeah, that is probably the best option. Or black can leave things as they are. That is also possible. Maybe double on the f file. But then, then the problem is, if you place rook f7, you go knight g5. So it's not easy to do that. Maybe he takes on f3 now. He takes on f3 with his knight, and bishop into f3. He plays rook f7. That is possible. Interesting. Black is also
Yes, they're taking their
his
time,
here.
both of them. Yes, absolutely. They're taking their time, making sure that there is no errors that they commit, taking their time.
Black's knight on b6 is actually doing nothing. So it would have been nice if it were on c5 instead. But because he has already played queen to d7, I mean, instead of queen d7, I was considering knight d7 maybe, but he chose to go queen d7. So that's the only piece which is not really participating at the moment, the knight on b6, and he needs to definitely reroute it. Okay, bishop e4. I was thinking about knight e4 actually. Bishop e4 is also possible. Can you hear a lot of background noise at my place? Because there are a lot of kids playing around.
I just thought so. A
Sunday.
lot of kids then maybe enjoying the chess online on One Play Sports, maybe cheering for one of the two players.
Yeah, we can take it that way.
Anything that can White do with his rook there, maybe on h1, just
Yeah,
settle
the
there,
rook on
completely
h1 is
open for him.
actually very well placed. So that's why he played king f7 because he wants to challenge it with rook h8. Now they both are low on time and they're just going to take fast decisions now. So he'll probably go rook h8 as well. Yeah, he did that. So he wants to exchange the rook. But then I think white is slightly better. I don't know. Maybe it's just equal. But I was thinking about he didn't do it. I was thinking about rook into h8, bishop h8, knight b5 maybe, and win the a7 pawn. But he didn't go for that. Can he play bishop h6 here and rook h6, queen e3? Can he go for that? Queen g3 he goes for. Okay. Okay, that's also fine. Yeah, black's problem is his knight on b6 is not participating. So white playing with 4 pieces at the moment, while black is playing only with 3, and that's kind of annoying. Though he's not in the big trouble or something right now. Yeah, so knight c8, he wants to bring it to knight e7 finally. It's a good move. Queen g5, so only rook h5 and queen g2.
Running out of time.
Yeah, f3 is also a good move. So if he takes on, oh, I thought he'll take with the pawn. He'll take, oh my god, black blundered his queen. Black blundered his queen with knight d6. He went into a fork. Okay, that was close. That was a close match, and both of them played very well. And finally, I think because of time pressure, black blundered his queen. And also, you know, his knight, it took him like so much time to reroute it. And I think it was a source of botheration for black. How do I bring my knight in the game? How do I bring my knight in the game? And in that process, he forgot about the tactics. That's also possible.
It's also very important to
Achha.
know that it's just 3 minutes. So these are kids under 17. So the time pressure, the pressure of winning, playing online, playing at home, a different atmosphere. It all eventually counts up to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, we quickly move on to another match in the second round.
Oh, why king f1? King on e2 was well placed. There was no need to move it. It was very well placed on e2 actually. It was blocking the e4 pawn. But now I think black will win this. He has to work hard, but he will win this. He'll basically push the e pawn, king f3 now, and then e3, e2, and oh, he can't. Sorry, that's a wrong square. So it could be a draw. Actually, it will be a draw if white plays correctly. Oh, it will be a draw.
Just 5 seconds with white, and he's down on a pawn.
Yeah, the point is wherever the black square bishop moves, white needs to control the e3 square with his bishop. So let's say black moves his bishop. Okay, he has moved it to d2. So now bishop d4. He shouldn't allow e3 and e2 basically. And if black plays e3, he just takes the pawn with the e3 with the bishop. Oh, he allowed it. Oh, he allowed it. That was a huge blunder. Okay, now black is winning. No, if he hadn't allowed it, it was a simple draw because the h pawn is a queening on the light square, and this is a theoretical draw actually. Even if black is a piece up, like bishop up, because it's a wrong colored square bishop. Yeah, but I think in time pressure, white blundered e3 and then e2 and then e1.
Yes, and with that, I think we have all the results coming in of the second round. Yes, so the second round is done, And these are the standings at the end of the second round of the under 17 boys category.
Oh, okay. Lot of players on 26 players on 2 points, 26 players around full score. And then there are 4 players on 1.5 points. And then a lot of players on 1 point again. Keep going.
Absolutely good going. Second round is done. We'll be beginning with the third round shortly. And in the meanwhile, always good time to take in questions for our woman Grandmaster Soumya. There's a question coming in on Facebook from Pulkit. He also asked a question last evening. Apologies for not taking your questions yesterday, Pulkit. And the question is, of chess lately. The whole chess Olympiad is a huge success compared to the competitions in the past. What are your thoughts about them? That's a question coming in from Pulkit.
Sorry, can you please repeat the question, Chaitanya?
Yes,
I didn't hear you.
yes. It's about Sagar Shah and Samar Raina, who have really changed the popularity of chess in the recent times. The whole success, the whole chess
Yes.
Olympiad, huge success compared to the competitions in the past. Your thoughts about that?
So, firstly, about Sagar and Samay, Sagar has been streaming for 3 years now, and he's been working with. He has his own company, Chess Base India, which has been working on promoting chess since 2014, actually. So he's been doing a lot of work for many years now, and in the chess field already we knew him, and we knew about the kind of work he was doing and everything. But now, during the pandemic and during the lockdown, and after his collaboration with Samay, who again newly started streaming about chess because of the pandemic. He was interested in chess always, but he was not a chess player or a chess promoter before the pandemic began. He was a stand-up comedian. And they both started streaming about chess and collaborating, and we have this huge chess boom in India, and so many players watching, so many people interested in chess. It's amazing. I mean, for the Olympiad, we had 35,000 people watching concurrently for the semi-finals, and 60,000 people concurrently for the finals, which is amazing. I mean, there have been times when I have played in the Olympiad, and my close friends and family have asked me, "Oh, but what is the chess Olympiad?" And now no more do I have to answer questions. Like, everybody is so much involved in chess, and it's amazing to see the kind of support chess players are receiving. And also about the Indian team performance, we actually spoke about this yesterday as well. I mean, I'm so thrilled and so happy, so proud. It's an amazing achievement, I think, to win gold in the FIDE Olympiad. Even though it was an online Olympiad, I think it was still very, very strong, and we played so well. So we were absolutely thrilled. It's an amazing achievement.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. On One Page Sports on Facebook and on YouTube. Let your questions keep coming in, and we'll have it answered. Another question coming in for you, Soumya. Before we think, are we ready for the third round? No, before that, quickly, we'll have a question from Pulkit again. And the question for you, Soumya, is your favorite Indian and international chess player? Why?
Oh my God. Tough question. No, I mean, okay.
You need to select one. I guess you need to select one.
Yeah, tough to select one, basically. Okay, my since I'm a 90s kid, my favorite chess player international is Kasparov, and Indian is Anand. Because they were my heroes growing up, and I learned a lot from their games, from their attitude. And both of them are very different personalities, by the way. But yeah, lots to learn from both of them. Yes. I think as someone who is very, very expressive and very aggressive over the board. In general, his face has so many emotions. You can just see his anger, his excitement, everything on his face. And Anand, on the other hand, is so calm and like a gentleman. He also has his emotions, but they are very different from Kasparov. He's like known as the gentleman of chess. So they both are very different and very amazing in their own way. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. With Vishwanathan Anand, while he's playing, you see absolute no expression, isn't it? He's just there since the start of the game to the end of it, till he wins it, and then he starts giving a smile. It's just the same facial expression that he maintains.
Yeah, the only time I saw him like celebrating a win was when he won the World Rapid Championship. I think it was in 2017. And he actually gave a fist bump after he won the tournament. And that was amazing to watch.
That's very unlike Anand. That's very unlike him.
That's very unlike him, yes. Yeah.
What has been your ways of celebrating a victory? So, any peculiar way of celebrating? Maybe a happy dance or something like that at the end
I
of
have one
each
funny
victory for you?
story. I'm not very expressive, to be honest, after I win, because you just learn to control your emotions. Yeah. But at least not over the board, because your opponent is also over there and that person has just lost the game. So it doesn't feel very, you're a little more controlled with your emotions. When I was a teenager, I think I was 16. When I was about 16, I won the national juniors, and after I won the tournament, I started clapping for myself. I was so happy. That's the funniest. I think that's the funniest way to celebrate. You start for yourself, and anyone else is happy or not, doesn't matter. And such kind of reactions you can give only as a kid.
Well, that's absolutely fine. It's just applauding yourself because you have played a good game. It's difficult to always keep winning, but if you do, why not? Why not appreciate yourself?
It was not exactly an applaud, but just like I was so excited, I wanted to release my energy and express it in some way. So, but it was very funny. It was very funny.
I think we can
But
expect
chess
also
players are
something similar
generally very
from our participants
controlled
online.
with their. What? Sorry, what did you say?
Something similar we can expect with our players online as well. They are home, they can have their parents, siblings coming in, celebrating at home every time that they win a match.
That would be. Yeah, it's great point actually. Just imagine that you game like a great game and you want to share your happiness with your family and they're just there, yeah. Because yeah, that's such an amazing thing, because when you're at a tournament, you're simply on your own. Maximum you can call family. Like that's the maximum. So this is really nice about playing and playing well on them. And also, if you don't do well, let's say, the family is still there to support you and lead you for the next game. I think that also helps.
It's also when you won the World Junior Girls Championship in 2009 in Argentina. So who was the first phone call that you made back home to? And how was it? Was it a phone call? Was it a video call? So how was it? How did you tell your parents that yes, you've won the Junior Girls Championship?
I don't remember whom I called first, but I called two people. I called my father. It was not a video call actually. It was just a phone call. I called my father and then called my coach. Both of them were in India. So yeah, I remember that.
They must have started celebrations here with all sweets all across Pune.
Yeah, it was quite special. We did celebrate. We did. So the game has begun, third round game, and it is a Sicilian defense. Let's see if he opts for open Sicilian. He does. So it's a Paulson variation of the Sicilian defense with the structure of e6 and a6. And white will probably take the Morixibine setup. He will go for c4 and try to control some squares, prevent black's d5, and basically put black in a bind. That's the reason it's called the Morixi bind. This setup was popularized by a player called Morixi. So most chess openings are named after the players who either invented or popularized these openings and or developed them, basically. That is a more appropriate way to put it. And some of them are also named after places, like Catalan defense or yeah, which other place? Spanish opening, Italian opening. Yeah. So because those things are more popular in those regions, were, as in now, of course, everything is popular everywhere. So
what was generally your preferred opening? Any specific preferred opening that you had?
From black, I mainly play Sicilian. So
Okay.
I used to play this setup as well, Khan Paulson, which black has taken. When I was a kid, I used to go for this setup, but now I don't. And from white, I play both e4 and d4. So I basically open with the king's pawn as well as the queen's pawn. So I don't have a preference as such. Okay. This is a yeah. It looks like the sides are doing well, but black is slightly better. Maybe like he can bring the rook to e8 now. The other rook, of course, because if you bring the rook on f8 to e8, then after fg6, your knight on f6 is vulnerable. Yeah, rook to e8. Now let's see what white does. Maybe he can. He definitely needs to move his queen, but where to? Because queen d2 is an option, but does it allow knight c4? Does queen d2 allow knight c4? But then bishop into c4, queen into c4. Oh, he plays knight d5. Okay, that's a good move actually. Knight d5 is a good move. He could have even taken on f6 and played knight d5, but then black would have taken bishop f6, knight d5, bishop d5, c d5, and moved his queen. But that was also possible. Okay, so let's see what black does here. If he takes on d5, white can take with his bishop, then white takes with the pawn, and then the rook on c1 attacks the queen. So he has to move the queen to maybe b8 or b7 maybe. But then you can take on, he moves it to d8. So he doesn't take on d5 and moves the queen to d8. But now it's already vulnerable, right? Like the knight on f6. Are there any tactics coming? Let's see. Can we spot any tactics here? Nothing immediate.
Yeah, both of them still taking their time. So, Soumya, any specific reason or any specific time when you do the castling? Because we can just see Arash in the white who has done the castling move.
Sorry. Any specific time that we decide to castle?
Yes, or any specific reason as well.
Yeah, because once you castle, first of all, your king is slightly safer than it is in the center. And secondly, your rook comes into the game as well. And your rooks, once you develop all your pieces, you connect both the rooks, and there is a good coordination between your pieces. They are not like isolated, doing something on their own. They're all together. There is harmony. In this position, white managed to create something. Yeah, fg6. This is a good trap which I missed, and now Now he has a choice. He can take on f7 with the pawn, or h7 take another pawn, or he can even play rook f5. He can even play rook f5. I think he'll take on f7. Yeah, he does. He does take on f7. Now maybe rook into f7, but then rook into f7. Okay, white is definitely better now. Rook into f7, king f7, and rook f1 check. Yeah, he's much better. White is much better now. This was a very nice tactic with bishop f6, knight f6, queen f6, and fg6. And he basically got a great position.
He's taken his time, but he's made sure that he's in a good position. Is Arash?
Right. Now, if he had moved his knight, say g6, pinning the e4 bishop, then he could have taken bishop. You could have given a check on, and then the rook on e8 would have been unsupported. Knight f5. Okay. Knight f5. Knight g4. Queen into g4. Oh, this is nice. Queen into g4, queen g4, knight h6, and you win a piece, and you're going to win the game as well. We are seeing a lot of knight forks. Even in the previous game, we saw a knight fork with on d6. Pretty. Very nice game by white. Maybe we can have a look at this game again in the break if we have time, because it's a very well played game. And in general, he's the top seed. He's been playing really well. Even the first round game that we saw, played really well. So Arash Dagli, we should definitely see his game again in the break.
Definitely a good game, worth being analyzed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this he'll win because he's a piece on up, and basically black has no chance to make a draw in because white has such an overwhelming advantage. But as we discussed, in online games, internet is an issue, and that's the reason usually players resign. They're still hoping for cycles to happen.
Absolutely. That's the point that you made yesterday. So Black
Yes.
right now is just hoping that Arash somewhere his internet might just give up, and that's when he might have that slightest chance of victory. So he's not giving up with Soren. He just has his rook. He's still surviving somehow, playing it. Still has a minute to go. Hoping, but that was just too far away, isn't it? Yes, that was a brilliant game by Arash. Also higher on the ratings with 2431 in comparison to Soren, who is 2040.
Right.
So we still have a couple of games that are still being played in the third round. That's right. We have Branislav and Tigran.
Very interesting position. It's not clear if it's winning for black, even though he's a pawn up, because basically simple logic is, let's say all the pawns get exchanged, then black will have one extra pawn and white can give up the knight for that pawn and make a draw because of insufficient winning material by black. So, but now black managed to create a passed pawn, two passed pawns, connected passed pawns, so he'll probably win this. Shouldn't have allowed that. White shouldn't have allowed that. Okay, this is definitely winning.
then white has resigned. So white loses. So Tigran was also better as far as his ratings are concerned. So still can see maybe a game remaining in the third round. Might just get the last 15 seconds, maybe. Yeah, 2 seconds when it comes back. And yep, there we go. That's the end of the contest. He's run out of time. Quick move. So he gets an increment of a couple of seconds.
Right. This should be a draw, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, Rook F8 is a good move. Oh my god, he won on time. White won on time, even though black was a pawn up. It should have ended in a draw because it's a theoretically drawn position. But still, you just had to play faster, maybe make
That's
some
right. All that
pre-moves.
black had to do was just quickly make a move to survive that, get those additional 2 seconds. Not to happen though. Maybe as what you were mentioning, Soumya, yesterday, the control over the mouse is also important,
Yeah,
or over the
yeah,
cursor on
mouse
your
speed.
laptop. Very important when you're playing at home.
Yeah, and it takes some practice. It takes some getting used to, and also every interface is different, So it even gets some used to on this platform. So the kids who have played some practice games maybe before the tournament on this platform, Premium Chess, they might have a slight advantage in terms of handling the mouse. I think so.
Yes, that's right. So these are the standings at the end of the third round. 11 rounds, remember, for under 17 boys category, and that's the standings after round 3.
Great. So there are 13 players on round on 3 points on the full score.
Yeah.
And 2 players on 2.5, and quite a bunch on 2. So if we have time, can we have the production team to bring the top board game so that we can quickly go through it? Dagli from Iran was white. Yes, this one. Awesome. So
wonderful. We have the entire game there. The entire game. Yes.
So yes, let's go through it quickly. It was a Sicilian Khan Paulson opening, as we saw.
Could you explain us what is the Sicilian defense, Soumya, for all of viewers joining us on Facebook?
When white opens with the king pawn and pushes it to 2 squares ahead, e4, and black replies with the queen's bishop pawn and pushes it 2 squares ahead to c5, that is the Sicilian defense. And white can reply in many ways actually, but the most common way is to reply with putting the knight to f3, the king's knight, developing the king's knight in the bishop's line on the second move, and then opening the position with d4. So this is the open Sicilian defense. For all the viewers who are not familiar with the chess notation, this was the most this was the best way I could explain it. I hope you got it.
Absolutely.
Are you
This was
familiar
good
with
enough.
the chess notation, by the way, Chaitanya?
Yes, I am. As I've been games, I'm a champion in defeating my mobile phone on the easy mode. But now with the Sicilian defense and with the aggressive mode, I'm going on the hard mode at the end of the weekend. So tomorrow, early morning, I'll be defeating my mobile phone on the hard mode.
Oh, amazing. And this setup taken by white is very good against this, very effective against this setup by black. So in case your computer goes for this, you can just blindly follow Dagli here, our friend, and crush your computer engine. So yeah,
wonderful.
this is
I'll do that.
Yeah, f4 is actually not so usually white goes for a more positional approach, like rook d1, rook c1, knight to f3, pawn to h3. So f4. White decides to be a little aggressive. Instead, he goes for f4. Yeah, f4, f5. Yeah, at somewhere around here, I thought black was doing fine actually. I did not anticipate that it would become so bad so soon, because logically, if you see, it looks like black did everything okay. You know, he developed all his pieces on the right squares. Knight is on e5, bishop on b7 in the long diagonal. So I think his main mistake was not to take on d5, allow the knight to remain on d5. He should have taken on d5 with his bishop. The and then maybe moved his queen, or he could have even taken on d3 first after knight d5. That point is already gone, but okay, after knight d5 he could have already also taken on d3 and then taken on d5. That was also possible, because after allowing this tactic of knight f6, bishop f6, bishop f6, queen f6, and now fg6 is what black missed. Even here, maybe can he go for knight? Maybe he could have gone for knight d3. It was possible. Okay, he went for queen g5, but this is already bad. This is already bad for black now. Yeah, white played. White.
Yes, just a quick
Was in full
reminder to all our
control.
viewers, as you can see on your screen on the left top, it's a replay of a very interesting game in the third round. Because we have a break in between rounds, we're just analyzing an important game, a very exciting game of the third round.
Oh my god, here black missed a tactic. After rook f1, he could have taken queen f1, and knight d3. Because queen d3 is not possible because of rook e1 back rank mate. Oh, and so black would have, white would have had to play knight c2. Then, yeah, I mean, it was good compensation. Actually, he could have gone for that maybe. I don't know. It was possible. No, maybe it doesn't work. Because knight c2 and it doesn't work. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is
contest between
the last
these two.
The last trick in the position, queen into g4 and knight h6, and now it's already over. Okay, I think we can stop the game here because there is nothing more to analyze after this point, and we can go to the standings maybe, or wait for the next round to begin.
I think we just had enough time. No, there's still time for fourth round to go ahead. Yes, so these are the standings at the end of the third round.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is the under 17 boys category, and the qualification rounds. Remember, these are 11 rounds being played as per the Swiss system format. To do a lot of participation, always difficult for everyone to play against each other, and thus there's the elimination and the qualification based on the Swiss system format. 11 rounds yesterday of the girls under 17 category. We had a great time analyzing and witnessing almost all the games. Same is happening today. We have had a good start in the first 3 rounds, and now it's time for round number 4 of the under 17 boys category. Game is about to begin. We have Ali Reza and Arash. Not a lot of difference between their ratings as well. Promises to be an exciting contest.
One of the strongest prodigies in the world right now is Ali Reza Firuza, who's also from Iran. So his namesake. Yeah, so basically white has gone to set up which I don't think has a name. Not that I'm aware of. It's not a, but it's a. Usually, you develop the other bishop, the white squared bishop to g2 and fianchet to both the bishops. That's a more common setup, but developing it to e2 also is possible. And then yeah, f4, and now he will go knight to d2 and then bring it to f3. Let's see, maybe I can play d4 here. Maybe he can play d4. Yeah, so blocking the b2 bishop, he basically blocked the path of the b2 bishop. This is quite typical for this position. And if white goes e4, black can reply with e5. Yeah, that works, I guess. Oh, a good idea might be for e5 to take on e5, queen into e5, and reroute the bishop to c1 and then to f4, because its work on this diagonal is over and it's not really doing anything on the a1 h8 diagonal. So let's reroute it. Okay, he first wants to put his knight to c4 or f3, probably to c4, and then push the pawn to e5 and control the d6 square. So he prevents that. Black plays bishop e6. So that for knight c4, he has the choice of taking on c4 with the bishop. Right. Now maybe a4. Okay. He goes for knight f3. Knight f3, knight h5. Right. Knight h5. Yeah, this h3 move creates some weaknesses, and now there's the g3 square is weak, f4 square is weak. So, okay, knight g5 is a good move. Knight g5 is a good move. But how do we reply? How do we respond? Knight g3 here. Knight g3, knight into e6, f into e6. Look all right.
Putting in the spot,
Yeah.
Soumya, who's the one in the leading position right now?
Yeah. So I think he will take on e6. Or he might go for rook f3 as well. No, he will take on e6. I think he will take on e6, and it's a bit awkward for white, this position. It is a bit awkward. I mean, it doesn't have easy decisions to make. Maybe bishop h6 here. Does that work? Bishop h6, bishop c1, maybe. Bishop h6, bishop c. He plays h5. That's a better move. That's a better move than bishop h6, because you can play bishop h6 on the next move, and you can also play h4 and guard your knight on g3. Like, will be so strong on g3. There would be no... maybe now bishop c1. Now bishop c1, bishop f4. That is possible. Right, he goes for it. So h4, bishop f4, bishop e5. That is how black is going to respond to bishop f4.
So Soumya, how important is it to get your queen into play? Because it's already 1 minute 15 seconds remaining with Ali Reza, and we haven't seen the queen move.
Yeah, but he did not get time to do it because black was constantly creating a lot of threats, and he needed to defend against those first. So he also, there is not much space. Black has a space advantage. White's pieces are a little ramped. So where do you develop your queen? That's another question. Maybe bishop e5 here.
It's taking his time, is Arash. As a minute and 10 seconds. Remember, it's a 3-minute game and 2 seconds increment per move.
So saves his bishop. He doesn't want to give up his bishop. He wants to retain his bishop. Bishop h6, really? Okay.
H6, yeah.
Oh my god, he lost the exchange. Because after bishop e3, d3, the rook doesn't have any space. So as we mentioned, as we were discussing, white's main problem was lack of space. He should have actually exchanged pieces, because you know, the more pieces you have on the board, the less space they have to move around, right? Because they'll occupy each other's squares as well. Like, so it was important that black would have maybe taken the e6 bishop, or at least played bishop f4, bishop e5, exchanged a few pieces. Okay, now bishop f2 and queen h4 is possible.
White bishop goes to f4, over to black now. 40
Right.
seconds, advantage with time there.
Yeah, maybe it was better to take on h4 directly instead of taking bishop f2 because of the stack. He missed it, and I mean, black is still better, but not so much. I mean, he would have been a piece up, and now he's an exchange up. And white has a double bishop pair against the exchange. So it's not so bad, but yeah, this a5 move is really strong. Play a4 also. Acha, he allowed bishop f3. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because of time pressure. Yeah, he's like there are a lot of things that are being missed because of less time. So he decides to play it safe. He takes on d3. Wow, wow, pawn into c2. That was pretty confusing the opponent. Which bishop to save? It's the big question.
Yes, absolutely.
Bishop b3 probably. Bishop c4 he plays. Okay, bishop c4. Now maybe king e2. Okay. Plays rook c1. Now bishop d3. Now bishop d3. Yes, bishop into d3. Rook d3. Rook c2. Okay. Yeah, this might be a draw. Might be a draw. Not sure. Let's
Maybe an
see how
attempt
it
at
goes.
queening there
d4.
for black, but
No,
definitely failed.
d4 might allow d. Okay, rook d3, king e4. Yeah, this is a draw. And now rook d4.
Can we have a result from this situation, Soumya? This is one pawn up for black.
No, this will be a draw because this knight pawn, black has an extra pawn which is the knight pawn, and if the king was very much away, let's say white's king was in the queen side and it was cut off, then black could have tried for a win. But because the king and the rook are very well placed for white, I don't think, I mean, it's actually just a theoretical draw, and I'm sure that white will be able to hold it even in time, because it's not that difficult basically. And
That's right. Both
I
of
can
them
see
are
that
not
he
ready to
knows
stop the game.
yeah, and I can see that he knows this concept because he's like just making moves and playing very fast. So yeah, I'm sure he'll make a draw here.
Those quick moves are making sure that the time also increases. 2 seconds increment per move.
Okay, he managed to cut off the king, and now he should. Okay, he could have played rook b3 even, but okay, this is also fine. Now he'll give a check. Yeah, and he'll just keep the king on the rook on the 6th rank basically. as in the third rank. I mean to say the third rank. And when the pawn comes to the third rank, let's say he keeps the rook on third rank, and now black pushes the pawn to g3, rook will go to a8. Yeah, and when king comes to h3, gives a check again. So there is no mating pattern. He simply keeps giving checks, so there is no chance to give mate.
Right.
So that's why it's a check. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Good contest. In the end, it's
Yeah.
a draw.
Good game.
It was quite
Yeah.
long, as a result of which almost all other games are done with. The only game that we saw in the fourth round lasted for quite a long time there. And these
Yeah,
are the
and Black
standings
played
at
very.
the end of the third round.
Yeah, Black was definitely winning, and if he had taken the knight directly for knight h4, if he had taken queen h4 directly, he would have been a piece up basically for a pawn. But he chose to take this exchange because he missed this tactic of bishop f4. He was still better for sure, but then he was really short of time and he missed his chances there. But good game by both sides.
Absolutely. Good game. Always fun to see under 17, under 14 kids, boys and girls competing it on the online platform. So the fourth round has come to an end, and we'll be beginning with the fifth round shortly. 11 rounds. Now, meanwhile, Soumya, a question coming up for you on Facebook. The question is, what aspect in the game should a coach notice in a young talent who is starting off in chess? Identify
Wow,
talent.
it's a tough question, and I'm not a coach, so I'm not sure if I'm the best person to answer this. But from my experience, I think the main thing is the main one of there are two things. There are two things. So one is interest in the game. Only if you're curious about the game, and if you're like, if the game makes you excited or happy or something, like are you going to really want to work on it more and more? This interest can be developed, by the way. It's not necessary that initially if you have like a lesser amount of interest is going to remain the same. It can increase depending. So it needs to be observed for a period of time. But yeah, interest, I think, is the main thing, and a certain level of curiosity. And I think the ability to want to learn new things, which is also curiosity, but like just the inclination, to want to try out new things, apply them, not just just to find out what's happening, uh, try different things. I think that's a very good asset to have in any sport, probably, but definitely in chess. Yeah, because there are so many different things to learn in chess. There are so many concepts, and the only way to really learn them and apply them is to start being curious about them. If you are like, अच्छा इसको क्या होता है, इसको क्या होता है, तो फिर आप खुद ही सोचोगे और फिर खुद ही आपको आइडियाज मिलेंगे नए नए, because it's such a vast game. And I'm playing it for many years actually. So but even now there are many times when I feel like, अरे ये तो पता ही नहीं था, ये तो कुछ नया है. There are always like things which completely, like, you feel like, oh, I never knew this, I never knew about this concept, this idea, this opening. So just to remain curious, I think, is a good quality in a student.
Yeah, absolutely. So many aspects of the game. You've been playing so many years. There's also a question that came in: is there a manual to learn chess? Is there a book, or is there a manual specific that can be followed to learn chess, or is it always to have a good coach?
The basics of chess, yes, for sure. There are so many books written actually. Um, There was a Russian book when I was a kid. There was a book published in Russian, which was very popular, whose name I don't remember, but it was very popular. And there are a lot of books. I think there is I mean, if you just go to Amazon and or any other online website, and look for a chess, learn basics of chess, just Google it. I'm sure you'll find such a book. I never looked at such a book, by the way, because I mean, my mother used to play chess, my brother used to play chess. I mean, not professionally, but they knew how to uh, play chess. So they were the ones who taught me the basic rules. And then I worked with a coach. But yeah, I'm sure there's such a book exists. There are a lot of chess books. I don't know if the viewers know this, but there are a lot of. We basically work with chess books and computers. There are a lot of chess books written, and they are amazing. And yeah, that is our study material, you can say.
Okay, there we go then for all the chess enthusiasts looking to learn the game. Always can find a good coach, and there's always some of the other manual. Plenty of books, as Soumya mentions, have been written available on various online stores, so you can always get hold of one. And always good to learn a game, isn't it? Even if you're not looking to make a career in a particular game, always important to
Exactly.
learn different games. And right now there is a lot of time with people sitting at home, and
Yeah.
this is a game that you can play even without a person opposite to you. That's like for me, I play against my mobile phone. Similarly, you can have plenty of apps. Always good to learn a game, and chess definitely one of them.
Yeah, and you can play it with anyone, right? There's no age limitation, or so you can play it with your parents or your kids or your grandparents as well. That also is a another benefit of being able to play chess, and it's always going to help you. It's always going to help you, the qualities that you learn from the sport. So
Yes, and chess is also a game wherein we talk of maybe cards that are played by people traveling long distance, maybe in train or in bus.
that's
Similar happens with chess as well. Chess, there are these boards available which are magnetic boards. So even if the train is moving, we have the pawns and knights. So these
totally
are
true.
these are
I
some
used to.
good innovations that have been made for board games when it comes to chess. Just makes it exciting for people traveling on long journeys in trains or in plane, just to play with those chess of those magnetic boards.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also I have seen so many people play chess while traveling in local, or let's say they're traveling in a train, and they'll be in a flight as well. They'll be playing chess on the app nowadays. So yeah, it's it's a lot of fun for me to watch them. Like अच्छा कैसे खेल रहे हैं देखती
Have
हूँ.
you ever seen two strangers playing and just noticing as if you have no idea about what you're doing without giving in your
Yeah.
inputs? कि ये करो, do this, do that, do this, do that.
No, I did not give input. So what happened is I was playing in Asian continental, Asian individual championship in Uzbekistan, and it's a former Soviet Union country. So where in the Soviet Union there was a huge chess culture, and they were the strongest chess playing nation, and they were countries have a huge chess culture. So Uzbekistan is one of them, and I had gone to Tashkent to play the Asian Continental, and every evening there was a park in front of our hotel. So every evening I used to go there for a jog, and there used to be people there, old people, above 60, retired people who used to play chess, and as a bet, like,
Okay.
and there used to be a clock as well, and they used to play so well. So I used to go and watch them every evening. It was so much fun.
Oh, wonderful. We'll keep having those chats, but in the meanwhile, we have the fifth round, which is begin of the qualification round for the under 17 boys category. We have Tigran, rating 274, taking on Money, rating 2201. So quite close when it comes to the rating for these boys.
Right, and let's just remind the viewers that these ratings are not their over the board ratings. These ratings are their ratings on the platform of premium chess. So their strength might actually be different. Their playing strength might be different than the rating it's displayed here. So again, I think Tigran again went for Alekhine defense. He had gone for this in the second round as well, no? I think so. So he again goes for the Alekhine. Again, I like White's position. The e5 is very strong, and it can be supported. It can be supported with bishop f4 if attacked. So he played knight d7, but White can play bishop f4 and support it. Or he could have even gone bishop g5, I think. He could have even gone... Oh, he could have gone bishop g5. It was a strong move. I wonder why he didn't go for it. Okay. But this is also fine. Oh, so now black threatens bishop a6. So White has to be careful. Maybe he can play b4 here. He can play b4 here because bishop a6, b5. So he will have to move the knight. He goes for b4. And now bishop e4. What is he doing for bishop e4? Bishop e4, bishop b7. It looks like... oh, I'm surprised. He could have gone for bishop e4 actually. But it's fine. He didn't. Maybe now bishop e4. d1. d1. Oh, so he if black castles, he might yeah, black and castle here. Black and castle. Yeah. Okay. Why not bishop e4 again? Why not bishop e4? White is clearly better. And knight d2, knight e4 is another idea. Black's pawn structure is not so great for the piece formation that he has taken. f6 square is a weakness. Oh, he goes for a4. Okay. Maybe he wants to go a5. I think White should develop his knight soon. I mean, it on priority because the knight on b1 will be very useful on e4. So he should definitely go for knight d, knight e4. Next. Okay, he goes for bishop e4. So now a into b4 is sort of forced, no? Otherwise, otherwise White is threatening b5. Okay, he plays, but now b5, b5 knight d8. He wants to go. Okay, he wants to go to d8 with his knight. So he plays queen b5. Oh my god. Black's position is very awkward. Knight to b8. One of the knights to b8. Which one? Knight c6 to b8 or d7 to b8. In either case, Black's position is very awkward. Right, and now White can win two pieces for the rook with bishop b7, queen b7, rook d7. knight d7, queen d7, but then rook d1, and there will be a checkmate, back rank checkmate, which is possible only because white did not develop his knight on time. So he should have done it. Oh my god, white trapped his queen. I mean, white got his queen trapped. That was a huge blunder. He had a huge advantage. And yeah, this was quite unfortunate. His bishop a6.
Was in a very winning
Yeah,
position, wasn't he?
he should have taken care of his development. It's the main reason why he got into this problem, because his knight on d1, needed to be developed much earlier actually. When some of your pieces are not playing, like imagine when you start the game, you have 8 pieces and 8 pawns, and so does your opponent. You start on completely equal terms. Then you choose to not develop a few pieces. Your opponent is basically playing with more force, right? He has more forces. He has more possibilities. So it is important to complete your development and have harmony between all the pieces. Coordinate them well. Yeah, black is completely better. He will take the pawn on c3 as well.
6 seconds with white now, needs to quickly make a move to get those 2 seconds increment. He has his rooks placed c1, d1 is white. And is there a move? No, that's it. So time has expired for
Black.
white, and thus black wins. Yes. Also, a slightly better on the rating was Tigran with 2274, and just keeping 11 seconds in hand, the victory goes to him.
It will be interesting to see if he again repeats the Alekhine defense in his next black game, because he was in a lot of trouble in the opening in this game. So we are going to see the top seeds game. Okay, he's completely winning. He's a piece up, and black is probably getting mated. No, definitely getting mated. So yeah, it's mate in 1. If king h8, then knight g6 and king h6, then queen into g6. So either ways, white is going to win the game on the next move. Okay, black resign.
So white wins. It's again Arash with on the higher rating points. Oh, still a few games remaining. So we have finished a few games of round 5 pretty quickly. Here we go to Brainslav and Isaac. What is the situation here, Sonia?
Actually, I think it will be a draw, but no, it's not. Yeah, it will be a draw because at least like black can give up the rook for the f, which is very far ahead, and then his h pawn is also far ahead. So white will have to give up the rook for the h pawn, and so it will be draw with only kings left on the board. That's nice.
Yes.
Only two
There we
kings on the
go.
board.
Insufficient material, but that was interesting. They were not ready to just stay there without doing anything. And yes, we still have a couple of games remaining. There we go at 8 seconds for black. And
Okay. Yeah, white is completely
interesting.
winning because he's queening. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Pawn will result in
Oh
queening. So
wow!
there'll be
Did
a
you notice
queen
this?
coming in.
There is a 600 point difference between the who is rated 600 points below
Yes.
won the game. So it is a big upset.
Quite an observation that was absolutely. So it's a big upset there. Maybe a game remaining in the fifth round.
There are a few games
Yes, there we
remaining.
go.
They are playing.
Yes.
Okay, this is also completely winning for white. He's a rook up, queen up, and black will soon get checkmated. King d7, rook b7. Okay, he resigned. Right. I think all the games are over.
Yes, that's it with round 5 of the under 17 boys category and the standings at the end of round 5.
So we have two leaders with full score. Sarkisian and Tigran, whose game we saw, is one of them, and Nazari Eremsa is another. Then the top seed is on 4.5 points, not far behind. Another boy from Iran is also on 4.5 points. There are 6 players from Iran in the top 10. And number 2 to 6, all the boys are from Iran. Then Liu Hanzong, Marques Silva, Sumia Chingun, I think he's from Mongolia. Okay, interesting. So there are many boys of 4 points actually. There are quite a few rounds left, so it's hard to say as to who's the favorite to win right now.
Yes, that's right. Yesterday, I think we had a clear picture in the girls category. We had a couple of them who were up there winning almost all, but here we just have the top 2 who have won all the contests so far. Just 5 rounds done, 11 rounds. This is system to be followed by the ISF World Schools Championship this year by the ISF. In the meanwhile, because we have a break, Soumya, we have designed a quiz for you, a chess quiz.
Okay.
Yes, so there'll be questions coming in. So they might not necessarily be highly intellectual questions. You might have to go a little away from chessboard and the chess knowledge to answer these questions. Okay, so for all our viewers on One Play Sports, we have our women Grandmaster, the Indian Junior Girls Champion, the World Junior Girls Champion, ready for a quiz. Ready, Soumya?
Yeah, I'm absolutely ready and excited.
Okay. 10 questions lined up for you. Okay, the first one. The knight on the chessboard moves in what letter shape?
L.
Okay, yes, there you get the first one. L is right. Second one, what does N stand for in chess? N, the letter N stands for which character?
For the knight.
Yes, perfect. The third one, oh, that's too easy for you. The third one, which color traditionally goes first? I thought we'll have some difficult questions, but this one?
White, always.
Okay. All right. Answer true or false. The king is worth 9 points.
No, that's false because the king is infinite points. There's no value.
Yes,
there
and
is too valuable.
That's right. 9 points are for the queen.
Right.
Okay. How does the pawn capture? What direction?
Diagonally.
Okay. We need to design a difficult quiz for you.
I think it
we'll
would
just
be
work with
fun
our
if you
production
ask
team.
questions to the kids. To the kids, no?
To the kids, yes. Maybe we can do that in the remaining rounds. We can have a couple of kids who have participated online answering these questions.
Yeah.
Let me check for a tough question. Okay, can a king directly put another king in checkmate?
No, he can't.
Could you explain us why? Why can't that happen?
Because basically you cannot bring your king on the square next to your opponent's king. There always has to be a distance of 1 square between the two kings, and that's why you can never attack the opponent's king with your own king.
Okay. Just a couple of more. Name a piece that is worth 3 points.
Knight.
Okay. So you've
And also the
answered
bishop.
almost
Both the minor pieces are valued at 3 points.
at 3 points. Okay. The last one. How many of the 16 chess pieces have legal moves on your first move? I repeat the question again. It might be easy for you, but for our viewers as well, the question is: how many of the 16 chess pieces have legal moves on your first move? So when you're making the first move, how many of your 16 pieces can legally make the first move?
So all 8 pawns can move on the first move, and the knights, both the knights, can move on the first move. So
Yes,
10
the knights, the
copies,
horses have the ability of jumping over pieces. So that's when we have 10. Okay, wonderful then. So you have answered all 100%, 100%
yeah.
marks for you, Soumya.
I'm excited.
Well done. Then
Thank
I'm
you.
sure
Thank
we can get up with a tougher quiz
Where is my
next
laptop?
time, going into the details. We'll be asking the ISF or maybe One Play Sports for the prize for Soumya Swaminathan for getting all the questions right in the quiz.
A fun quiz. I think for the kids also, we can maybe make a video and get a few of them to answer them. Yeah. In the coming rounds.
Always. We can work on that because kids get learning the chess. Always important to learn and understand the basics. And a quiz or questions of such will always help in increasing awareness or the interest in a particular sport or in a particular game.
Yeah. For the
If
kids.
not, we'll quickly take a question that we have on Facebook coming from Sachin Sharma. Okay, the question is, Soumya, who decides at which side the clock has to be placed? Is there anything of that specific?
Right. It's a good question. Actually, it's usually on the right side of black.
Okay.
Right hand side of black, basically.
All right.
So that I think it's just for convenience, like just to decide one thing, so that all the boards in the tournament hall basically are in the same direction. The clocks are in the same direction, and the arbiter can check the clock from a certain angle. So just to make things convenient.
Yes. So that's the answer for question from Sachin Sharma. Generally, to the left side of the black.
No, the right side of pieces and the left side of
Right side of
the
the.
white pieces.
Okay. So any more from our viewers on One Play Sports? Make sure that you post them on our Facebook page. We are live on One Play Sports as well as on YouTube. Any questions that you would want Soumya to answer, keep shooting them, or any questions, any more tougher quizzes. The quiz that I had was pretty meager there for Soumya. She easily could have done a checkmate to me on that. So any tougher quiz, any tougher questions that I can come in, always are welcome. Right then, meanwhile, we have the sixth round that has started. And the first match is again, we have Tigran with a rating point of 2274 taking on Arad with rating of 2298.
Right. So he has opened with a queen's pawn opening, and probably black wants to go for the king's Indian setup, which is with bishop. Okay, he goes for the grab with the pawn on d5. Right. This is the fianchetto Grunfeld, and it's a very popular opening at the higher level because it's quite symmetrical and very solid for black usually. So yeah, it seems like both of them know their theory. Bishop f5, bishop f5 he played. Okay. Yeah, maybe now knight into c6, because then the pawn on c6 is backward after knight c6, bc6, and then you go knight a4 and put your knight on c5. It's basically a positional game. It's going to be a very positional game, and there are going to be very small ideas, subtle ideas for both sides. Let's see if white goes for it. He's thinking. I think white will go for it. What would you say, Chaitanya? Would you play knight c6 in this position? Or would you keep your knight on e5?
Going ahead with g6 should not be a problem there. It's just going on the attack. Oh, yes. There's a change of direction there.
So now knight a4, probably. Or rook c1, is it possible? Yeah, rook c1 is also possible. Yeah.
Yes.
So knight d7. Okay, I was thinking about knight d7 makes sense. He wants to play e5, is it? Maybe he wants to go for f6, e5. Okay, he wants to go for e5 directly.
e5, yes.
So now knight into e5, I suppose. Right. b3. Now rook e8. So maybe rook d1 here. Rook f d1, because the rook on c1 is very well placed. It's already on a semi-open file. So we bring our other rook to d1.
A minute advantage with white.
Yeah. 1 minute is a huge time advantage.
Yep.
Let's see how black had. No, black's problem is the pawns on c6 and d5 are not moving. You can't push c5 because d5 will hang. You can't push d4 because it's already hanging. Queen into d5. Right now you can't take it, but at some point you will be able to take it. Right now you can't take it because d4, queen into d4, knight f3 check, and the bishop on g7 attacks the queen. He played e4. Okay. Maybe he could have played d4 on the previous move instead of queen a5. Now that I think about it, I think that was a better move. Okay. But now the pawn on c6 slightly weak. And he's also threatening knight to d6 here. So black has to be careful. He's threatening to win an exchange with knight to d6. So black has two choices. Either take the knight on f3, but then white will have a pair of bishop advantage. But I think that's a good choice in this position to go for bishop e4, because otherwise, how do you defend against knight d6 threat? Maybe rook to d8. Can you do that? Can you play rook to d8? But then I go knight to d6 and then you play rook to e6. So let's say the c rook to d8, rook c d8, knight d6, rook to e6. But then knight f5. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he goes for rook c d8, but now knight d6, rook e6, and knight f5 is likely. So knight f5, rook into d2, bishop into d2, pawn into f5, and f4, and black will win the c6 pawn basically. And yeah, that should be. Oh, he went rook f8. I see. And what if knight here? I think rook e6 was better, no? Rook e6 was better. Wow. So he lost a piece because of this rook f8 idea. You know, he allowed knight e6, knight e7 check. Yeah, that was a bad blunder. Black.
The advantage of time with Tigran white with 50 seconds, Radon 20 seconds now. Quickly needs to make a move for the 2 seconds increment, and yes, so the black has resigned, was higher with the rating points, but Somya, as have been mentioning, doesn't count for a lot. Those ratings here with a difference of around 20-25. So sixth round, yes, still a few games remain. We go on to Daviti and Money. Got a lot of difference in the rate, 1200 to 2200. So the clear favorite on as far as the numbers are concerned has to be black.
Yeah, and also he has a very strong pass pawn. The outside pass pawn are usually like it's a huge asset to have because it's very hard to stop it. Even though the A1 square is sufficiently controlled by black, by white, with the rook on A1, bishop on C2, bishop on the diagonal. So all three pieces are controlling the A1 square, but you know, slowly black will exchange and pose problems. Like let's say now rook b8, rook b1 is an idea. Yeah, now rook to b8. And now bishop d6 maybe. Bishop to d6. He played bishop g7. Okay. So he wants to exchange that bishop and go bishop b3 and take the knight and then take the rook and win the game. That is an easy win. Yeah.
Clearly the favorite was Money.
Yeah. So he's a piece up and white has only one pawn the piece and show a win. He's also very low on time.
Yeah.
Black has enough time to convert the game. Right.
Yes, so for Daviti in white, time expired, and that's a victory for Mani Jahedi. 8-1. Quickly moving on, just 10 seconds remaining in this contest.
Wow, this is so close because if the king was on f3, this would have been winning for black. But because the king is on f4, white has this idea of rook, king f2, and that's why it's winning for white now. Could have gone f8 really. He could have given a check, but okay. Yeah, completely winning for white. Queen f5
quick
and
moves,
queen
you
into
need to make those quick moves, and yes, inspirited by our expert in the house. White was leading and White wins.
Right.
Yes, so by the time we entered this match, White had already won it because Black ran out of time. 3 minutes, you need to quickly finish it, quickly make those moves or those extra 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Interesting,
exciting is this,
interesting.
Soumya? We are just going right quickly to 20 seconds remaining and still exciting matches, exciting contests coming up of us.
Yeah, so this is a dead draw because the problem is that black will keep his king on e7. There is no way for white to attack the with his king as well, because he can't bring the king to e6, to f6 basically, because the king will remain on e7, and he'll keep playing bishop c6, bishop b7, bishop c8, bishop b7, bishop a8, keep moving the bishop, and there
Yes,
is no
it's
way for
Siddhant
white to.
Lohia from India, also the better rating on 1926 for Siddhant Lohia in White. 14 seconds, taking quite a lot of time for this move is Siddhant. Where do you see this game going, Soumya?
What did they do? I'm really surprised that white. What exactly happened? So fast that I just went to check like the Facebook link if there was any chat that I missed, and suddenly now this was very surprising turn of events, because actually it was a dead draw and white managed to allow this a5, a4, a3, a2 queen. He basically gave up all the pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he blundered. He blundered the bishop into a4 idea. Just pretty
So with
unfortunate.
that, we come to the end of any more games remaining. No, that's it. So there we come to the end of round 6, and these are the standings at the end of round 6.
So we have a leader for the first time in the tournament,
Yes.
Sarkisian Tigran, who's leading with the full score, 6 out of 6. And we have a sole second. We have Dagli from Iran, who is in sole second position, and then we have a few players on 5 points, and a few on 4.5, and a lot of players on 4. All of whom have great chances for qualification. I think players on 3.5 also have a good chance for qualification. So then there are 5 more rounds to go. So that's a lot. And yeah, let's see if Sargisyan can keep up his momentum. I think the next match will be between Sargisyan and Dagli, or have they played already? I don't think they have
That'll be
played,
interesting.
because Dagli is on 5.5 and Sargisyan is on 6, so they clearly have played. It'll be an interesting
Yes, that'll be
match.
interesting if the top two can get involved into a contest. But that's the standings at the end of round 6. So we're still halfway through the under 17 category qualification of the ISF World School Championship Online Chess 2020. In the meanwhile, just quickly run you through the tournament details with the help of our graphics. For ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020, the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess is an online event being held on the virtual competition platform, that's Premium Chess. Boys and girls from 35 countries and 5 continents have participated in the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess. ISF allocated the broadcasting rights to One Play Sports. We are getting you live action right now. The two organizations signed a partnership to broadcast 3 rounds of the competition. That's the under 17 qualifications and the finals to the One Play Sports platforms, site and the YouTube channel. As we're also getting some questions and brilliant feedback by all those watching live action on the Facebook page of One Play Sports. These are the rules of the championship. The players have been divided into two age categories. That's under 17 and under 14. Under 17 meant for those born between 2003 and 2005, and under 14 boys and girls for those born 2000 and 2007. All tournaments will be played in the blitz time control. It means that every player will have 3 minutes thinking time with an increment of 2 seconds per move. That's what it makes it such much more interesting that it's just a 3-minute contest. Qualifying tournaments will be 9 or 11 rounds depending on the number of players, and the first 40 players will qualify for the finals. The final tournaments will be played over 9 rounds. That's what we call Swiss system format of 11 rounds. Each tournament will start at 1400 hours UTC, 7:30 in the evening IST, and 2200 hours SGT. Technical meetings will be made 5 minutes prior to the beginning of each tournament. The TC will communicate and inform the participants about tournament information at the Premium Chess ISF playing arena. So then two categories, under 14 and under 17. And of course, these are 17 under 14. So there's always the prize also, which is important. So the winner of each category will be rewarded as far as under 17 is concerned, have a right to participate at the ISF Summer Gymnasiad in Xinjiang, China on 16th to 23rd October in 2021. And also will be awarded by a laptop. That's a wonderful prize to win. And for those in the under 14 category, they have a right again to participate at ISF under 15 World School Games in Belgrade, Serbia on the 26th of June till the 4th of July 2021. And again, the under 14 winner will also be awarded by a laptop. And of course, the first 8 ranked players in each age and gender category will get the ISF ranking certificate, while all the rest finalists will get a participation certificate. Remember, the certificate is also extremely important, and coming from the International School Sports Federation will always hold a massive wage in the CV resume of all the kids who have participated in this online chess competition. So irrespective of the prize, the winner will of course get a laptop and right to participate at the higher championships, but also will be getting the ISF ranking certificates. Getting you live action of the first ever ISF World Schools Championship online chess this year on One Play Sports on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So any questions that you have, please keep them coming. We have our expert along with us as well. That's our woman Grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan. She'll be joining us. Even when she used to play chess, she always liked to go for a quick walk, grab a fruit or a dry fruit. So she'll be joining us in a few minutes, and it's about time for round 6 to begin of under 17 boys category qualifications. Just a few minute break between each rounds that we have. In the meanwhile, yes, welcoming Soumya. I was just mentioning about the rules and the prizes that the kids are going to get. Also the certificates. I was mentioning the certificate also plays a massive role for these kids to get. Certificate coming from ISF always plays and holds a big weightage.
Yes, for sure. And to represent your country and to have a certificate saying that you represented your country at the World School Championship would mean a lot to all the kids, I'm sure. So we have a radio in the in this game, and the top board clash between Arash Dagli versus Tigran Sargsyan. The winner of this round could be the winner of the tournament itself, because Arash is the top seed of this event and he's been playing very well. And Sargsyan, as we know, is on full score, so he's also in very good form. So it could be the most critical round, the most critical game of the tournament. H3, bishop h5, e4. Okay. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not e4 if you can get it in? So knight into d5, c5, and maybe d4. Okay, he goes for queen b3. So attacking b7 and d5 at the same time. So can we give up this pawn, or do we need to protect it? Here queen b6 would be a blunder of sorts, because queen into d5 attacks the bishop on h5, and for bishop g3 you have queen into h5 basically. Even though it was interesting, because maybe after queen d5 you have something like knight f6. It could have been considered, but then maybe white goes back to b3 with this queen and comes out a pawn up. So knight b6, bishop e3. Probably wants to put his knight on d4. That's the reason he did not go for pawn d4. He wants to put his knight on d4 and target the d5 pawn, and then maybe go to f5. He gets a chance. a4, undermining the knight b6. So he'll play a5 next. Oh my god, but now bishop b6? Did black make a blunder? Black blundered a piece, right? A whole piece. He completely missed bishop b6, I think. Now black completely missed bishop b6, as we can see from the time he's taking. He did not notice that the b6 knight was hanging, and that's the reason he was so fast in playing bishop into g3. Otherwise, he would have taken time to make his move. Yeah, it's a huge blunder, and Arash will win this game, it seems, because he'll just win the piece. After a into b6, f into g3, he'll be a piece up. Yeah, unfortunate blunder by black, which decides the game and perhaps the tournament. Goes back bishop c7. You can simply take on c7, then take on d5 as well. I mean, why not? Yeah. Then you can go to g5 with your queen and then go queen g3, or maybe you can first protect the d3 pawn. You can go rook to c4 here. You can go rook to c4 and ask the queen where it wants to go. Now, some slight precision is required, but not much. Now, bishop to d3, rook c6, right? Bishop to d3, rook c6. This is not required. Queen into b7 was unnecessary and not required, but okay. It probably still works. Rook c6, maybe queen f4 now. Queen f4 is possible. Right, and now he's threatening bishop to e4 after rook moves. Let's say rook d1, black will play bishop to e4. So he's winning the... Oh, there is a nice trap. Now you can play rook c1 here. And for bishop to e4, you can take queen into a8, rook into a8, and rook c8. Rook into c8, rook c8, checkmate. So basically, yeah, that... Okay. I'm surprised that he went rook e1. What is the point? Maybe the point is rook c4 here. Queen b4 is the point. Okay, queen b4 also works. Yeah, both these moves would have worked. Rook b8, but now queen d4. How about queen d4 here? Or queen c4 even queen c4 would do. Right. What is black? What is white thinking about? He was probably just rechecking and making sure that he can play queen f5 perhaps now. Can he play queen f5? So he's attacking the knight on f3 and the rook on c6 after queen f5. So maybe we can play knight h4 now, or even knight h4 and we win the piece. Yeah. This is crushing knight h4 and rook into e4 on the next move. So white will win the queen now because black took bishop into c6. So rook into e8, rook into e8, and knight into f5. And I think black will soon resign because this is a hopeless position for him to defend. Yeah.
That's what happens. Time was expired for black. So it's Arash who has defeated Tigran. Also a little better when it comes to his ratings was Arash Dagli.
Yeah, he is 2400. That's a good rating, 2431. Yeah, he played really well and he was completely in command. Actually, all the games that we have seen of his so far, he's played really well. He's been very composed, very calm in handling the position. Right, what do we have here? So pretty. So basically, yeah, white was winning because the rook on c3 is pinned. So he would have won the rook and he would have been a piece up.
Fast games here, and quickly move on to Soren and Arad with half a minute remaining. Both the players.
Right. This is sort of equal, but yeah, this should draw. But we never know because both the players are under time pressure. But this will be, let's say, rook f1, king e2, rook c1, king d2, or yeah, this will be a draw. So white will go back to e2 with his king.
Taking his time is Arad.
Yeah. Okay, he decides not to go to e2. This is also completely equal. But he wants to take his chances. Okay. Okay then. And now if he plays rook d5, you can play rook f4 and attack the c4 and h4 pawns at the same time, so that after rook h5, you can simply take on c4 and the material will still be equal.
Both of them with the rook, with the pawn. Somehow manage victory, or as Soumya, we have been mentioning about the internet connection as well, hoping that the others might just lose the internet connection somewhere, but hasn't happened so far. So 2 days, and with our players and with us as well, internet and our respective Wi-Fi's and LAN connections have not troubled us at all, and hasn't troubled our players as well on the premium chess platform. Just with a pawn up, do we have a result here, Soumya?
Yeah, it's a theoretical draw. So
Yes, yes. There comes the answer. It's a stalemate. So that's a drawn game between Soren and Arad. Do we have any more games remaining? Yes, we have. You can see a couple of them still being played in round number 7. And as I was mentioning it, the games are over. So that's the end of round number 6. Just
But the
wait
standings are
for
not yet updated.
updates.
The standings
Yes,
are not
yes.
yet
These are the standings after round 6. We are done with 7 rounds. So we'll just wait for the standings to get updated. Once I think all the contests of round 7 are done, we'll automatically get standings updated. Just any more contests or any more games remaining in round 7. Only once they are done, we get the updated standings at the end of the 7th round.
The game versus there is a game going on. I think I don't remember who was white. I think Behruzi was white. Oh, they have been updated now. Okay.
Yes, there's standings after round 7.
So the first and second placed players basically interchange their positions, and there's one more guy on 6 points, Barsegyan, also from Armenia, and a lot of players on 5.5. Right.
Yep. So these are the
Lots of
standings after
Iranians
the
are
end of
playing
the
this.
7th round.
Lots of Iranians are playing this tournament because even yesterday in the girls section there were a lot of Iranian girls playing. In general,
Yes,
there is
there's
a
Iran, there's Georgia as well, who's they have a lot of participation here.
Iran also has a very promising young team. The men's section, they have 3 very talented kids. Firuja Ali Reza doesn't play for Iran anymore, even though he used to. Now he plays for France. He lives in Paris now. But Maqsoodlu Parham and Tabatabai, they both are really very strong players. They both are 2600 and 18, 19 years old. So, yeah, they have a lot of promise. And they have a
Soumya, how is
strong
generally the connection between Soumya, how is the connection generally between two chess players? Like when you travel to play chess tournaments and you interact with a player, is there sharing of ideas, sharing of maybe tricks about how to go ahead? Do you teach each other? Do you learn from each other? So how is generally the interaction when you go on tours to different countries, interacting with grandmasters of those particular nations?
For sure, we are always discussing chess, and if a non-chess player decides to hang out with a player group, then he will feel like we are talking in an alien language, because we are always like knight to g5, bishop to h7. We are always discussing chess, and we are discussing, like, if you put chess players in one room, they're only going to talk about chess. This I can guarantee you. Even though there might be whatever happening outside, earthquake, tornado, doesn't matter. You put them in a room and they are going to talk about chess. I mean, even if we start, it always happens to us. We'll start with another topic. Yeah, such a big whole thing, pandemic is happening. We'll be talking about something very serious. And then, oh, did you see that game? And then you come back to chess. So it's always like, I think it would be very hard for a non-chess player to hang out with a group of chess players. Maybe with it's okay, because he'll be very left out. And yeah, we are surely we're surely discussing a lot of ideas, our experience, sharing our experiences. And I feel in general, chess players are very similar to each other, because we are sort of, I don't know, the more chess players I meet, the more I feel like, they are just like me. They think exactly like I do. Their life is just like mine. even though they might have been brought up in a completely different country, different culture. But when you interact with them and get to know them, you feel like they're just like you, because maybe, and I feel perhaps it's a result of the game, the humans, and we all have a similar lifestyle. We have followed we are a similar lifestyle, a similar training process. So that has shaped us as individuals as well. I think so.
Any particulars that you have made over the number of tours that you have made?
Sorry?
Any particular friends that made with any other grandmasters?
Yeah, all of the Indian players are my friends. Actually, most of the players in the Indian team are my good friends, and I have a few friends who are grandmasters and they are from abroad. So yeah, I mean, generally we share a good relation with each other. It's a very healthy community, I would say. Very, very healthy. We are trying to improve. All of us are trying to improve ourselves. So we are quite open. And even if we are not open, like let's say someone is reserved, then it's just because he's reserved. It's not. The vibes are very positive, I would say.
Wonderful. Always important to share these ideas along with players of the same community. Always good to have friends
Yeah.
who share similar ideas. I'm sure sometimes on the
By
dining
the way,
table you might have made your spoon and your fork also, maybe your king and a rook, and maybe play with a friend of yours who might be of the same community on the dining table in the absence of your of rook and the knight. Happen with chess players there.
yeah, exactly, you learn from each other's experiences, right? So you're sharing that is very important, because how many mistakes can you afford to make on your own? You need to learn from other people's mistakes as well.
True.
So that's why it's very important to share your experiences and be more open and communicate. So chess players train with each other, and I think the more variety of chess you train with, the better your game will, because you will explore more perspectives, right? Your mind will open up to more perspectives. And also, I wanted to share that I think chess is one of the few, or maybe only game that I've come across so far, where immediately after the game, you analyze the game with your opponent. And this is a phenomenon which I haven't yet observed in any other games I have played, at least, or I have watched. So I can't think of any other game. Can you think of some other game as this? Because I think it's
That's
very
very
unique
rare.
to
That's
chess.
very rare. Absolutely,
Yeah,
very
it's very
unique, very
unique
rare
to
that
chess.
you analyze the game with your opponent at the end of the game. That's very rare.
Yeah. That's actually the best way, because you not only share what you're thinking, you also get to know what opponent is thinking, and you're quite open in this analysis. It's not like you're hiding something, because you are genuinely curious as to what would have happened if I would have played this or played that, and you genuinely want to explain your idea behind the move. So it's a very interesting process.
Yes, absolutely. Meanwhile, we might have the next round also beginning. We have round time for round number 8. Done with 7 rounds. It's the Swiss system format of 11 rounds. Massive participation of kids in the under 17 category today. October is the under 17 qualification. Yesterday we witnessed the girls qualification. And, yes, 11 rounds, 7 rounds done. Meanwhile, you might just have, yes, the 8th round starting, and it's going to be Arash taking on Armen, and not quite a lot of difference between their ratings. Armen in white.
But Armen is also like 2300, so he's it seems he's also a strong player. We haven't watched any game of his so far, so it will be interesting to see how he's playing. This is a King's Indian Fianchetto, not a King's Indian. It's a strange. I mean, White decided not to play for c4, not to play c4, and then even developed his bishop to g2. Usually the pawn is on c4 in this position, the pawn on c2. This is also fine. Black is okay. He can go knight e5 now, and then knight c4. He goes knight c5, decides to attack the pawn on e4. So bishop g5 supports the pawn on e4. Goes knight d7. He wants to bring the other knight to e5 perhaps. Yeah, he could bring the other knight to e5. b3, stopping knight c4. So he will play f4 if he gets it. Is there any tactic incoming here? Let's try to find out if there's some tactic in this position. Seems like there isn't. So white is going to play f4 on the next move. So perhaps queen b6 here. How would queen b6 suit white? Suit black? No, but then he played f4, bishop d7. But what if f4? How are you defending the knight on e5? h6, huh? You want to go h6 perhaps? Because the knight on e5 doesn't have any squares. So the only way to, he played f6 and then he wants to go knight f7. Okay. Yeah, that is a much better move than h6, because h6 bishop h4, I was thinking about g5, but no need to go for it if you have this f6 idea. And now maybe 5, give up the pawn, or 5 even. I would even consider f5 here. Open up the position. Opening a bishop, basically. Opening a bishop on g7, that's the main bishop in King's Indian.
There's a time advantage as well for white. 2 minutes 40 seconds, almost a minute ahead. So there's always a psychological advantage there. He has time, so he can maybe take a couple of seconds extra to make the next move.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, how about d5 now? Does d5 work? Because f4 is hanging, but then d5, ed5, knight f4, bishop. You can go pawn to d6, but then queen b6 check and bishop f2. Yeah, that's the problem. So d5 won't work. d5 would be a blunder, actually. Give check, so bishop to f2 makes sense here. And he wants to go queen b4. He wants to put the queen to b4. And now he's threatening knight f4, queen into c3, or he's also threatening f5. There are a couple of threats in the air. So white shouldn't blunder. f5. Okay. So he prevented f5 and also stopped knight f4. So that was a good decision, perhaps. And now queen d3 maybe, or bishop e3 even. Maybe bishop e3. That's a better move. Yeah, bishop 3 makes sense. Bishop e3 makes sense. No, he doesn't go for it. But now what if knight f4? Knight c5, huh? Okay. Knight c5. Queen d4. I like knight f4 more, but okay. Now maybe queen into d4. Bishop into d4. And now the f is hanging, so Oh no. Now white is threatening bishop c5 as well as bishop into f6, and it's impossible to defend both. So white is better now because he will win at least the f6 pawn, if not the d7 bishop after bishop c5 dc rook d7. Yeah, but white is he shouldn't have but he shouldn't have played knight c5. I don't like knight c5 at all, actually. Knight f4 was much better because it allowed all these tactics. Yeah, now white is a piece up. Now white is a piece up. Knight e4 now. Right, and he'll pick up the c5 pawn as well. Then he'll put the knight on e6. So probably black will play b6 here. Right. And now, oh, knight d6. Does this work? But rook into e1? Knight e1, rook d8. Oh my god, what blunder. White blundered his piece back. Wow. Wow, that was unexpected. But okay, he has 1 minute and black has only 9 seconds. So even here he can hope for more than a draw. He must take on c6 as far as I understand. He must take on c6 and just hope for the best.
Yes, he
so
does.
he can play rook into d6. Or maybe he can play, yeah, he has to play rook into d6. Or he can play bishop d5, king f8 and c4. Yeah, that would be fine as well. Black needs to be very fast. Bishop f4 now. c4, knight e5. Come on, exchange. Okay, knight g5. So it's okay. Yeah, this is a draw. Not clear, to be very honest. Now rook e1. He could have taken with the bishop actually, but it's fine.
Yes, the
On
draw
g5.
also provided Arash is able to maintain those 3 seconds well by making his moves quickly.
Yeah, and his position is actually now
clock.
quite uncomfortable because he has allowed this rook entry. It was this is the problem. Like when you have less time, you're more likely to also make mistakes, not only lose on time. So because you're in such a hurry, like you just want to make moves, and it doesn't matter what moves you're making after a point.
He's managed it well so far. There's Arash, who's moved up to 8 seconds.
Has managed it well.
Those quick and sensible moves.
Yeah. He has played well, and now he's going to play rook f6 the next move. So that's why white is thinking if he has anything, if he has any trap. Now rook e8, king f5, bishop e4 mate. Oh, that's why he did not play king f5. Oh, but he got his king to c3. Why didn't he? He can't play rook b8 because the b8 square is controlled by the f4 bishop. So he decides to push his h pawn and play. Wow, this game has got very thrilling now because black also has a passed pawn on the queen side. This has gotten really exciting, and black might actually win this because black might win this. Bishop a3 now. Right. You can't stop the queen. And he's first, so he can give checkmate now. How do you give
this
checkmate?
has become
Queen
interesting.
G1 check.
This has become interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. Now, unbelievable.
That was the checkmate. And black wins. He was almost down at 2 seconds. You were just thinking of him making those moves to stay in the game for a draw. But yes, what seemed a difficulty made it possible. We'd love to see that game again, but black wins a checkmate. Wonderful move in the queening as well.
Unbelievable, like that he was a piece down, and then it was a draw, and then so black is completely winning here.
Yes, this is Nami 1839, the rating, Chen with 1200. So there's clearly it's White who's the favorite as far as the ratings are concerned, but it's maybe a different result here on the board.
Yeah, white is black is completely winning.
Yes,
He has
so there we go.
queens.
We haven't seen this. We haven't seen this yesterday as well. So black has 2 queens now. Very
Yes,
difficult for White to make a comeback now.
it's impossible for white to make a comeback now.
Soumya, have you ever been in this situation wherein you have done queening and now you have 2 queens? Ever been in such a comfortable position in a high level game?
I did have 2 queens on the board, maybe twice, but my opponent had 1 queen.
Okay.
And she actually drew the game because she found this
Right.
perpetual. It was a very nice
Okay.
game against Vijay Lakshmi. She's India's first home grandmaster,
Okay.
and it was a very nice resource by her. She found an amazing perpetual and made a draw.
Right.
And
Meanwhile, we
one
come
of the
to
players in the
Almasta and
tournament
Mikhail.
was a team tournament. It was a
Go
team
ahead, go ahead.
tournament.
Yes, go ahead.
So this is a draw, by the way, the game we are seeing,
Yeah.
because white can't make progress because the king on a8 is stuck, and so white won't be able to make progress.
You were sharing an experience of one of your games. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that after the game, I was super upset. Obviously, I was queen up and didn't manage to win. And then it was a team tournament. So one of his teammates remarked that, "Oh, you had 2 queens on the board, but you forgot that Vijay herself is a queen." So she
Oh,
she
okay.
also has 2 queens. And there are certain things which you simply can't forget. So now rook c2. Why rook a2? Rook a2 is a bad blunder. Oh my god. White is winning now. Time pressure makes you make a lot of mistakes. Like, I think the lesson is to simply not come under 10 seconds. Because
Yes.
in time
That is
pressure
right.
times, your nerves, like, you just like lose your focus and yeah.
And you start making those mistakes. That has happened
Yes.
here, and that is the end of round 8. Yes, that's it. So standings after the end of round 8.
Awesome. So
We
Dagli
have
is
7.5.
leading by a
Yes,
whole
Dagli is
point,
7.5.
1 whole point, and there are
Hmm.
5 players, 4 players on 6.5, and quite a few on 6. So the next match will be probably. Oh, there are quite a few opponents actually. He could play the boy in second place, Han Song Liu. Yeah, I don't think he has played any of these players actually. He has probably played against Amir Azadi. I think so. I think we saw that game. But the rest of the players he hasn't. So we have to see.
Yes, and if
Dagli is
my
in really
eyesight
good form.
helps, if I'm not
Sorry,
mistaken,
what were you saying?
31st on the 31st position, I think we have an Indian also there, Mahindra, who's on the
Oh,
31st position with the score of 5. So that'll be interesting to see if he can qualify in the top 40.
That's
It's
nice.
also in the
Yeah, he
meanwhile,
has a
Soumya, there's a question for you. Is just a curious question in my mind. You see, there are certain sports, certain games when you're playing, the audience and their cheers at times just help you. For example, if you talk of cricket, football, the more audience, the more cheers, applause that you get, it helps you. But there are certain games where you want complete silence. For example, tennis is one such wherein during the serve is made sure that the audience doesn't make sound. So when you are playing, is it helping you if you have support, there are people shouting your name, or do you want complete silence? Does it play a role in chess?
no. There is a complete silence in the tournament hall. Nobody is shouting or screaming. It's like if you go to a chess tournament, you will be amazed by the amount of silence. You can actually hear your wristwatch ticking. Uh, I stopped wearing a wristwatch for this reason, and the one I have is a doesn't have a seconds hand because of this. Because you can
Okay.
hear the seconds hand ticking. It's so quiet. So you're actually not supposed to cheer, but of course, it means a lot when someone is supporting you. You can feel their energy. Nobody needs to shout and scream it. Like, let's say someone has come to watch your game, and you can feel that this person is supporting you or your opponent. You can actually feel that energy. And the same, like right, we have this huge online audience, and for chess, and it makes such a big difference for a player, when someone is cheering you, supporting you, even if it's just a message, even if somebody's just watching, you just know that these 20,000 people are watching this game online,
Yeah,
and they're rooting for you. You just are, even fact that you're aware of it, that makes a huge difference to your minds. You can feel the support. I think it makes a big difference.
absolutely, quite a valid point. The support is not only in cheers and in shouting, just in presence
Yeah,
and the vibes that we see from your
yeah,
supporters wherever that you're playing. That may be online or that may be in the tournament hall, any corner of the world.
yeah, definitely. So, I saw, have you read this book, Open by Andre Agassi, his autobiography?
I have not. The tennis side.
It's
I
an
have not read
amazing
his
book. If
autobiography.
you plan to read a book, then you can read it as your next book. It's an amazing book. It's very inspiring. So, in the book, he shares a lot of things about his career. So, he mentions that he used to travel with an entourage, like 6 or 7 people in his team basically, and of course 2 or 3 of them used to manage his things, let's say a chef or a manager or a maybe training partner, okay, but the rest of them, like 4 or 5 people, were just his friends, just for the support, just because he used to receive so much support from them that he just wanted to have them around. And yeah, it's a very interesting take. So even Magnus Carlsen, he has traveled to tournaments with his entire family at times. Like, he has 3 sisters. So there have been tournaments where he has traveled with his manager, his chef, second, perhaps, or maybe second, no need, but at least parents and 3 sisters. All of them have traveled together. So yeah, it does make a difference when you have someone cheering for you. It does.
Interesting to travel with a chef. You want wahi khana, you want the same food that you get at home maybe when you're traveling.
Yeah,
So the system is nice and fine. You're psychologically well prepared for the big contest coming up.
yeah, exactly. Especially when
Right then,
Europeans come to India, I think they prefer to travel with a chef.
okay. Okay, we can continue on the food point and the Europeans coming to India. You can share our experiences there. In the meanwhile, we have round number 9 of the under 17 boys qualification. That's Isaac with rating 2380 and Arash. rating 2-4-3-1. Not a lot of difference between them in the first contest of round number 9.
Right. So it's a Reti opening again, and White wants to play for e4, so he does get it. He went for knight e5. Okay, knight e5. Another option was to go for b3, bishop b2. That was also possible, I think. Or maybe, okay, so knight e5, f4. He wants to play for an attack. So he'll take, yeah, he just wants to go all out. I think he's feeling like really confident and he just wants to go all out. Is this the 8th round?
This is the 9th round.
This is the 9th round. So he probably wants to just ensure his qualification. Yeah, like if he wins this, maybe he's ensured of qualifying. So he just wants to make the most of his momentum. Right. So now definitely need to develop the bishop. Yeah, b3. How about queen d4 now? How about queen d4? Rook b1. He played f5. Strange move. Strange move. I was thinking of queen d4, b1, bishop b4. I thought black was completely fine there. f5 is a very strange move. Why didn't he take e into f5? E into f5, e into f5, queen e6 and win the knight? Okay. That was possible. That was possible. I think for e5, he wouldn't have taken on f5. He would have probably moved his bishop. But then you would have taken the pawn on e6 as well. So, yeah, would have taken it. And now bishop f4? Yes. This was possible even if he moves back. So how about... there are a few possibilities again. Maybe queen f2, queen e2. Idea queen c4. Okay.
It's taking their time into round number 9, so a little bit of fatigue also can play. It's been 2 hours. They've already played 8 matches, eight contests that they've played. And also sitting in front of a machine cannot always be comfortable for the eyes, whatever it is. So
yeah,
can get challenging for these kids.
Very, very valid point. Actually, it's very tiring to sit in front of the screen for very long, you know. Definitely very tiring. And to play without a break also must be very tiring. I mean, I can imagine. I think queen c4 here is a good move because queen into c4, knight into c4, then knight goes to d6. I'm wondering what he is wondering about. Probably he's not very happy with queen c4, knight c4, knight e4. That is what he doesn't like. Since he has some time, so he's considering his options. He goes for knight f3. Okay. Right. And what if black plays queen e4 here? Then white goes queen f2 maybe?
He's taking his time as Isaac in black. There's a minute and 10 seconds of his sleeve, and there goes the black queen from e4 to e4.
Bishop e3. Okay, this was his idea. He wanted to bishop to e3. And now the knight will jump to g5, attacking the queen, actually trapping the queen. So he has to be very careful. Oh my god. Oh my god, what does black do now? He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
Is the queen trapped?
He can play queen d5, but then knight g5
Yes.
anyway. And when the queen goes back, you give queen c4 check, and the king moves, and then you take on h7, king into h7, and then queen into b4, and you win the piece. Oh, he played knight e6. Now what if knight g5 or knight anywhere else? Oh, he wants to play. No, there is no move. He wants to play knight f4. He wants to play knight f4 and then queen e5. So let's say knight. Yeah, now we have some options, but I think knight g5 is the best option here. And now bishop e4, and you're a queen up for a piece, and then you win the g5 pawn as well. You take the g5 pawn. Okay, you can take. You can play this as well. This is also okay. Yeah, white is winning.
Also ahead on the time with 40 seconds is Arash in white.
He can take on
Has a
f4, by
queen
the
up.
way. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what happened, Soumya.
Yeah, this is quite comfortable. So he's threatening b5. Maybe you can move the bishop to g3. Okay, he played b4. That's also okay. Now rook to d1. Rook to e1 he goes for. Okay.
In seconds with both these players. White rook goes to f1. Just 3 seconds
Yeah, queen
with
c3
Arash
is a
quickly
good move,
makes a move.
supporting e5. So bishop g4 is also a good move, creating some threats. Why did he go queen c4 back? Okay. I mean, it's possible, but there was no need. Knight f8. Knight f8. Yeah, now queen e3. Now rook d7 and queen rook b7. Now queen h6 on the next move. Queen h6. Yeah, it's checkmate. Yeah, because queen h7 and king f8, queen f7 is checkmate. So
Yes, also
wow.
following up on was Isaac.
Yeah.
Good game, this one. The first
Yeah.
first that we've seen of the 9th round, and because it lasted for a long time, almost all games are done. We can still see a couple of them, and we'll go ahead to Mani Jahedi. Yes, we'll just get the last half match. Maybe just a few seconds remaining. Yes, 4 and 5 seconds each, and with it looks like white is the one with the advantage. Is it?
Yes. So white has 3 pieces for a queen and far too many pawns, and he'll also checkmate the king. Okay, rook c8 was checkmate, but he chose not to do it. But he'll like at some point took h8 and now g8. So yeah, rook h5 is checkmate. Yeah.
That's it. He had placed himself in a pretty comfortable position. Was Mani Jahedi in white, and yes, still a few more remaining in the 9th round.
It's mate in 1 because king h1 and bishop d5 is checkmate. So black is winning. And okay, he also won on time, I think. Yeah. He also won
Yes,
on time.
time as well. There we go. Mahan and Ahmad.
This also, yeah, white is winning because he's 2 pawns up and he'll win the a5 pawn as well. And then he'll
There's
create a
also a
pass
massive
pawn.
difference in their ratings as well. A big difference in their ratings, 1200 to 2100. So that's quite a difference.
Right.
15, 16, 17 seconds each. Remember, for all the viewers joining us now, it's the Blitz system that is followed over here. So that's 3 minutes, and you get 2 minutes increment per move. So makes it interesting. Where's the game heading now, Soumya?
No, it's fully winning, no, for white. I mean, he's a queen up and he'll get another queen as well. So,
Yes.
Very comfortable.
Just the bishop white. Yes, that's it. Black has resigned. There's no way. Very difficult for him to make a comeback there. So white wins.
Do you think some of the boys in this tournament must be in their 10th and 12th standard? It is quite possible, yeah?
Yes, because we're boys or girls of 15, 16, 17 years. So 15,
Yes.
16 is generally 10 standard, 12 standard. So, yes, so
Yeah,
meanwhile,
that's quite
9th
cool
round
that
is
they
done.
are playing the tournament then. I mean, because they also, there is this pressure, yeah, of 10th and 12th. And so it's quite cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. There goes the standings at the end of round 9. 2 more rounds to go. The standings there.
Right, so Dagli is still leading with the whole point. He won his game. Yeah, so what do you have a prediction for the tournament, Chaitanya? For the qualification? Do you want to predict?
One thing is for sure that we might have all Iranians because the first 6 are all Iranians. So that's one prediction I can give, that it's going to be an Iranian. I'll play it safe there. But, you can see that's quite a performance from them. Yesterday also in the girls under 17 categories, we saw the Iranian girls doing very well, and same is happening today.
Do you think they have a team coach or they're from the same school or something? It is quite possible, right? I mean, it is quite possible that one school sends so many participants and they have a school team or something, the coach.
Possible, isn't it? Quite possible. All of them have the same coach. They're friends as well, maybe playing against each other, practicing with each other, discussing at the end of each round and each qualification. And the result definitely is in favor. We talk of the top 6 being Iranians at the end of round number 9.
Yeah.
2 more rounds to go on a Sunday of the ISF World Schools Champ Online Chess 2020. This is the first championship this year, first tournament of any sorts this year by the ISF. Into the pandemic, the first time that the chess tournament is being held online on the virtual platform, and that's Premium Chess. Do we have the 10 starting anytime soon? Just 2 more rounds to go.
So, Chaitanya, do you start playing more chess during the lockdown? How was your personal experience? Like, you did?
Yes,
because
I did. As I mentioned yesterday as well, we have a chess board I have a niece at home as well, so teaching her the small rules because she's in a kindergarten. She's learning about stories about horses, elephants, listening to stories of
Oh, that's very
elephants,
nice.
and then telling her that elephants, horses, camels, not only in the jungles or in the desert, but on an interesting game as well. Very rare can we have kids relating to a farm story or an animal story to a game. So it has been very fascinating to her to listen to stories that okay, there's this elephant who is not only in the jungle but is also on this white and black board. So it has become very interesting. Always online as well, we have so many apps that you can just play against. So the lockdown definitely has helped, including me, hooked on to chess. Because home and also online platform, you can play with your friends as well. My friend might be at his place, but just connecting on a particular app and playing against him. So it has
Yeah.
definitely made it a notch up. A similar question to you: How is the practicing format in the game of chess? So how do you practice it? So you as the grandmaster, do you practice online or right now? That is in the past 6 months when you are home. What is the general practice schedule that you have been following?
Yeah, mainly online right now because we play practice games or blitz or yeah, mainly blitz practice games and solve some puzzles, everything online. And there is also an increase in the online tournaments, online chess, right?
Yeah.
So you also
Yes.
need to
Yes.
practice that format more because that needs a different skill set, as I mentioned yesterday. Like you need to be faster with your mouse, and concentrating on the 2D board and 3D board is different. Like even visually, the 2D board and 3D board are different with the pieces and everything. So that needs a different practice, separate practice. And even with our practice partners, everybody is coordinating through Skype or some other app, and we are discussing, everything is online. But also completed quite a few books, chess books,
Okay. Wonderful.
because there is a lot of this is the only time in the last 20 years or more that I have been home for more than 6 months, or more than 3 months, even actually. So I get to set a routine and sometimes follow it rather than just go from one tournament to another. So I finished few books. Now actually I'm busier, but initially when the lockdown started, I had much more time. Like let's say the first 2 months or 3 months, I had much more time. Now because I also started streaming myself, and there are always new things coming up, right? And you, you feel like 24 hours. I don't know how are other people doing all their work in 24 hours. I'm like always short of time nowadays. So yeah.
Quite a challenging time it has been, so coming up with newer and newer things. So apart from reading books, have you seen any movies based on the topic of interest on chess? Maybe a pawn sacrifice or something like that on Netflix
I
that has
did.
garnered.
I should catch up with that. I should catch up with that. I didn't. I have only seen a couple of documentaries on Fisher or Kasparov.
Yeah.
There are quite a
Yes,
good.
on the same topic
This
of
there is.
Fisher, there's a brilliant movie on Netflix that's Pawn Sacrifice. There's just get you the cast. Yes, so there's Toby Maguire who plays the role of Bobby Fischer, and the rivalry between the Soviet Union and Bobby Fischer has been depicted in that. So you can make up more
Yeah,
time
I
to
should
watch
catch up on it.
films as well.
It's just that when you have a certain perception of a person, and especially when that person is from your field, you're wary of other people's perspective of on him, and you're like a little bit
Oh,
protective. You're like a little bit protective of them, and you don't want someone else to portray them in a negative way or something. So that's why I'm a little wary of watching
oh
such
yes,
movies.
absolutely agreed. Quite a perspective that is. Completely agree to that because you have a particular idea of that person, but how the
Yes,
director or how the writer has perceived the person might be a little different. So you might absolutely bang on there.
exactly. And it, so I just was a little hesitant to watch it, and but maybe I'll watch it. I should watch it at least, no, to get an idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You can do that. You can do that. All right, then we have the 10th round, which has begun. We have Arash and Mohammad Amir. I don't think we have seen a contest of Mohammad Amir this on this
No.
Sunday. We've seen Arash play. This is the first time that we're seeing Mohammad play, so that'll be interesting.
Yes. So Black has again. Uh, Initially, he adopted the King's Indian setup, but then he got this d5 break, and Black is super comfortable, I would say. And White is also fine. No big issues in the position at the moment. It's okay. Why did he go Queen b4? Maybe he has to. Queen b4 is a very awkward move to play because after Bishop f8, he clearly missed Bishop f8. And now I think, Arash is very good at setting small traps and spotting all these tactics. Even in the previous couple of games, I noticed it, and even here. And now he's going to. The queen doesn't have any square to move at the moment, and he's going to play knight d3 on the next move. I think b into c6 would be a good move to play here. Should definitely go for that. And but Black can go knight e4, and he'll win a piece. But then the pawn on c6 is far ahead. Yeah, he does go for that. So knight e4, queen into b7 is possible. Knight into d2, and maybe here White can play c into d5.
Yes, and Soumya, both of these are Iranians. Maybe they be good friends. So has it ever happened to you that you're playing with a friend on a high level and you know that how your friend plays? So predicting the move of the opponent who's also your friend. That might be happening here with these two Iranians.
Yeah, that is possible. Sometimes you can, but it's not so easy, because finally it's not easy to read another person's mind. even husband and wife cannot understand each other's thoughts very well. So I don't think it's possible to completely predict your opponent's moves. Yeah, bc6, I'm not sure. It was interesting to play knight e4, I think, and it would have led to a very interesting position. Okay, but he chose to go bc6. Maybe he'll take knight into d3 now and grab the pawn, because knight e4 runs into queen b2, and white is okay. White is okay. So I'm expecting knight d3 here. Is there a better move? Is there a better move? Let's try to find it. No. Okay, he played d4. Yeah, probably this is better because knight e4 is not possible. Knight d1 was possible, but he didn't go for that. Okay. So he got two pieces for the rook, but he also gave up two pawns. And this is decent compensation. Oh, why? Why did he take the rook? He could have. That's a strange decision. He could have played rook e1. So bishop f1, what happens? Maybe bishop into f7. Okay, he wants to take as many pawns as possible. So bishop f1, bishop into f7 is his idea, and then he will take the bishop on f1 as well. So now he'll protect his rook. He'll save his rook. He'll go rook e1. Now f3, because there is a mate threat on g2. Now d4. d4 is possible. Maybe some other move. Rook b5. Okay.
B5.
h5. How about knight e4 here? Or even d4 again? Goes for d4, knight a4 maybe. d4, knight a4, queen et. Bishop d4, shouldn't blunder queen d4 because it allows bishop c5, pinning the queen, rook c5, queen c5, again pinning the queen. Yes. And now black will play bishop c5, I guess. Or maybe he'll save his bishop to e. Oh, wow, there is such a nice trick here, but he didn't allow it. For bishop into e6, I think white could have taken rook h5. That did not happen in the game. He played knight c5, rook b1, knight e6. And now
There's also a big time advantage with white.
Yeah, but he blundered this bishop c3. Yeah. Now he lost the rook. I mean, he loses a piece basically. But he has 2 pawns. It's not enough. It's not enough. Yeah.
"18 seconds with Arash and black, 40 seconds with Mohammad."
Still, black needs to, find a way to win this. It's not trivial because, especially with such less time, it's not at all trivial. b5 now. Now pawn to c5. Oh, he plays rook a5. Bishop into c3. Oh my god, he blundered. With such less time, it's so he's again winning. White is again winning now. Rook c1. Bishop c3.
Yes, the time pressure. So, as you mentioned, the best trick is not to come below 10 seconds.
Yes, that's probably the only way to avoid such blunders. Yeah. Now bishop d4 and c5, c6, 8g, 8g, c5, c6. King e3. Okay, he's playing it safe. Now c5, bishop d5, knight. Okay, knight e4. Bishop c3. Can white? Oh, bishop f6 was possible. Bishop f6, maybe bishop d5 anyway. So can black save this? He has a chance, I think, to save it. It's not completely lost yet, or is it? Now it is.
Absolutely.
He
He
shouldn't
has
have
a
allowed
bishop, has the knight.
He shouldn't have allowed the king to d5. Oh, yeah, this is completely lost now.
He's trying his best with Arash to still see in this. Quick moves, getting those 2 seconds increment as well.
Yeah.
He's just lost his knight. Surviving with the bishop now.
Now knight d4. Okay, he's going to go to h3 with his knight. Acha, e4. Wow.
Oh yes, we ran out of time. Black ran out of time. What a match this was. or a contest
This was
between the two
a
Indians, Arash and Mohammad.
very thrilling match.
How-
Yeah, very thrilling match to follow. And Azadi Muhammad is now in the lead along with Arash because Arash had a 1 point lead. So he can he is still leading the tournament despite losing the game. Okay, White is completely winning.
So we quickly move on
It's
to
going
Mani Jahedi. We've seen him play before, and Black resigns. It's Branislav.
Oh wow, this will be so interesting to follow. Even in a classical game, this is interesting to follow this position. So in a blitz,
Yes, just explain
there
this.
is
We
a
have
great.
we can see two queens with each, and Black is only ahead with a pawn. So what can
I
be done
think
with the
black.
pawn? Is there a possibility for queening here?
Yeah, I think black will win this. Oh, he blundered the pawn. Oh, he didn't take it. Queen h4 was hanging. Queen f3, queen h4. It's fine.
Equal
Now
time
h.
as well for the both of them.
Now queen f3. Oh, king g2. Huh? Queen g1. h2. Strange decision. Queen g3. Oh my god. Blunder. Now that the queens are exchanged, there is no chance to save the position.
Yes, that's right. White is also run out of time. We came to this
So
match at a very
Zipeng Ruang
interesting juncture. Yes.
won the game from China.
Do we see any other contest in round 10? Doesn't look like. So in a few seconds, we'll just have the updated standings at the end of round number 10. We'll quickly search if there's any other game happening. No, it's not. And we also have the standings updated at the end of round 10. Still on top four are the Iranians.
Right. There are 3 players on 8.5 now, all 3 Iranians, and then there is 1 player on 8 and their schoolmate perhaps, and two uh, 2 boys on 7.5. So yeah, definitely one of the top 3 boys. I think. I mean, one of them will win their game, no, in the next round. So one of them will win the tournament. But the important thing is to qualify because it's a qualification tournament. So the top 40 players will qualify for the finals, which will be held on 25th October, I guess. So almost everyone in the top 15, let's say top 14 on 7 points is already in. And actually everyone on 6.5 is already in as well. I think yeah, I think 6.5 is already in, right? Players on 6.5.
Yes.
So that's good.
That's important to stay in the first 40 because again we need to qualify for the next round. No prizes for being on the top in the qualification, but it's important to qualify for the finals. And thence when
Right.
you have a chance of qualifying for the bigger tournament. Of course, the important prize that is of a laptop that you're getting from the ISF. That's the ISF World School Championship Online Chess, and also quite um, something will be to end on the top position. Yes, there we go. As you're mentioning, the prize fund, the winner of each category for under 17, they'll have a right to participate at the ISF Summer Gymnasiad in China from 16 to 23rd October 2021, and of course be awarded one top. And for those in the under 14 category, they have a right to participate at the ISF under 15 World School Games in Serbia from the 26th of June to the 4th of July in 2021, and also be awarded by a laptop. Of course, for players of each category and gender, the first 8 ranked players will be getting an ISF ranking certificate, while all the rest finalists will get a participation certificate. So all those who make it to the next weekends, that is the final rounds, will be getting a participation certificate, and the first 8 ranked players are going to get an ISF ranking certificate.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, lot for in the last round, and yeah, I think also in general, it's always good to finish on a high. So even if you did not have a great tournament, as such, it's always great to win the last round. Like you feel good about yourself, right? So that makes a difference. I think the last round has a different mindset. Like I have felt this that usually the tournament is divided into two halves, the first half and the second half. But I have also felt that the last round requires a completely different mindset because somehow more nervous and just most of the times there's something at stake, right? Qualification prize is
Mm.
something or the other, championship, maybe a norm. So you just need to look at it as as a separate round and as a part of the whole tournament. Otherwise, it just plays with your nerves. That's what I think. It's not
Because
clear. Nobody has
always you end on
figured
a
out.
high.
Yeah. And nobody has figured out how to deal with it. Everyone has their own approach. Some people say play as if it's the first round of the tournament, don't care about the result, and some people feel more motivated when they have something to play for. So, yeah.
It's also important to talk about the mental health of a chess player, but just because we are also in the mental health month as well. So how important is it to be mentally focused and just very relaxed and comfortable for a chess player?
No, it is very important, and I think very few chess players really work on their mental health separately. Um, I know that a lot of sports persons work with sports psychologists on a regular
Mm.
basis, but chess players often neglect that part because they think working on chess is working on your mental health, but it's not the same. Working with a sports psychologist is a very important aspect while improving as an athlete, as because there is a lot of pressure attached, um, and and it is difficult to deal with it. It is difficult to deal with it. So it is very, I mean, a lot of people, they figure it out on by themselves, which is great. But if you can't, then you should definitely approach a sports psychologist and try to work with them. And in general also, I think mental health is a very important aspect in life. It's like, and I don't know why people are so hesitant to talk about it and to work on it to improve in this aspect, because it's basically just improvement, right? Like you're trying to improve yourself when you meet a therapist or a counselor. So it's to be proud of rather than to be ashamed of, I think. I mean, you should be happy that you took this step, that you chose to improve yourself. So I think it's a very, very important topic and people shouldn't neglect it. Yeah.
Absolutely, have to be addressed. Awareness about the game is important, but awareness about mental health also equally important. Coming from Women Grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan, so all the youngsters listening to a broadcast, it's always important to know have awareness about your game, but mental awareness also equally important. On that point, Soumya, we come to the last round of the under 17 boys category.
Yes.
It is round number 11.
Yeah, and now it has like become like a King's Indian attack. So he loves to play this setup, Ash. And again, he's going to go for knight d2. I think an f4, maybe. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so he wants to play d4 next. He has played c3, so he's going to play d4 next and try to have a strong center. Oh, he goes for e5 directly. That's an interesting choice. I thought he'll play d4 first. Maybe to confuse his opponent. Right. How about there were a few options. There were a few options in that position. Okay, he played knight d7. So how about bishop b7 now? Exchanging the long range bishop on g2. And for bishop f4, you can take on g2 actually. I think that's a perfectly valid option. And another option is to play rook a8, followed by, because bishop b7 runs into rook into a1, and the rook on a1 is basically unprotected. So white takes rook into a8, and then you can take with the queen. Oh, but then you have this problem of e7 hanging, bishop b7, queen e7, and rook into e7. So that's the issue. Right. What? Oh, okay. He played queen b6. Because rook d7 was not hanging. It's important to note that because queen c6 is a check and it attacks the rook and gives a check as well. So it would have been impossible. Basically, white would have lost an exchange. So he had to go back rook a1. And now maybe now e5 is hanging, so he needs to be careful. How do we protect it? It is pinned after all. It is under a pin. Playing f6 is uncomfortable. But is there a choice? Do we have a choice? I doubt if we have a choice. Yeah. He played f6. Didn't look like we had much of a choice. How is e4 here? It doesn't look great. But is it working? He took bishop into e5. Okay. Bishop e5. But now knight d2. And now white has a better pawn structure. The bishop on g7 is sort of blocked by his own pawn on e5. So very good decision by white to go for this position. How about queen b3 now? Is that okay? Queen b3 runs into c4. Queen b3 runs into c4, so that doesn't work. Queen e2. Rook 8. I see. So what if knight e4 now? Why did he play rook 8? Queen d5 was a much better move, I think. He was winning pawn on d3. It's a strange decision to go for that. These exchanges. So this ending, if white exchanges the queen, then black exchanges the queen, then white is clearly better. Even otherwise, I think white is better. Unless queen a2 works. Does queen a2 work here? He does not go for that. Plays queen d8. So what if What are our options? What we reroute the knight to e3? Let's say knight f1 here, knight f1, and then knight e3. Looks okay. Yeah, king f2, king e2, and protecting the d3 pawn with king so that our queen is free to move around and attack black's pawns. And we can also jump to e4 with our knight. That is the idea.
Both of them have maintained their pawns though.
Oh, black is suddenly creating some threats, and knight f1 probably, yeah? Knight f1 here. Or knight b1. The idea to go knight a3 and attack the b5 pawn. And how about... Okay. I was wondering if bishop c1 works, but it doesn't because c4 is hanging. So, yeah. So here you have to take on d3 and probably maintain the queen. Queen b6. Queen b6. Ah, he exchanged it. But now the b5 pawn will fall. Knight a3 now. And white will be a pawn.
Black also under time pressure, just 9 seconds, whereas Arash in white has a minute and 30 seconds. But an advantage that Arash has in white.
Yeah, white has a big advantage on the clock on the board. King e4 now. Okay, king e4 on this move, or king e4 on this move allows bishop e2. We have to find a good maneuver for our knight. Okay, so he goes knight c3, knight d5 maybe at some point. Now knight c3, yeah, and knight d5, protecting everything. Okay. Okay. Now knight to... Now c6 or b6? No, b6 doesn't work. C6. Pawn c6, bishop b6. Now knight g5. With the idea to play, if black plays king c5, we have knight e6 check. Knight c3 is also an option. Knight c3, king c5, king e4. That is a better option, I guess, which is what he goes for. Why knight a4? Okay, this also works. This also works. Right, and this is winning for white because he's a pawn up in king pawn ending. So g4, and this is completely winning.
It's 2 pawns for white, just
now
1 for
king
black.
h6 is important. Yeah, king h6 is important. g5 now, and white will cruise through. Okay, king f7. King h7 is also all right.
Yes, winning move, and yes, black had no option but to resign there. The victory for Arash in white, on board, on time.
Yeah, good game by Arash, and very well deserved. He played really well throughout the tournament. And he's definitely won the tournament jointly, but we have to see whether whether his tie breaks and whether he actually came first or second. But at least he's a joint winner of the tournament for sure. And this is completely winning for black because he's a rook up. And he only needs to make sure that he doesn't lose on time, that his clock doesn't run out before he checkmates white. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. White resigns, white loses, means black there, who was comparatively pretty less on the ratings, just 1289 versus 2156. So that could be considered
Right.
as an upset here based on the ratings and the rankings. Any more contests
His
to
name was
go in the
Mahan.
last round?
White's name in the previous game was Mahan, firstly.
Okay. Yes, Soumya, what is going on here? Just
White
two
is
pawns up
winning.
for black.
Oh, sorry, black is winning.
Black.
Oh no, he isn't. He gave up the pawn on f4. Now he's not winning because rook g8. Now he's not winning. Now it's a draw because rook g8 and for rook 2 king f3 and it's a draw. The g2 pawn will fall. Yeah.
Equal number of
It's
pieces.
interesting that both of them are playing.
Yes, the final call taken by Premium Chess, and that's game draw, not allowing the two boys to enjoy themselves. The game was there, equal pieces with Nathan Smith and one in white. Any more contests remaining? The last round of the under 17 boys qualification, and I think that should be it. And we also have the updated standings at the end of round 11.
Nice. So Dagli did manage to win the whole tournament. He came first, and his compatriot Azadi Amir Muhammad, he finished second. Both of them on same points, 9.5 out of 11, which is amazing. And third was also from Iran. So they have a lot to be happy about today, the Iranians. Soren Bozorgi, he came third in the tournament with 8.5 points. And Chan Isik also finished on 8.5. He's from Turkey. And a lot of players on 8 points, a lot of players on 7.5. Six players on 6 also got in, by the way, because as I can see, the last 3 players who qualified finished on 6 points. So everyone on 6.5 for sure got in, and also players on 6 points got in. Congratulations to everyone who qualified. That's amazing. I hope all of them are feeling very motivated and will give their best in the finals. And in general, congrats to everyone who participated in this tournament and represented their schools at such a high level. And I hope they enjoyed themselves. I think that's the main thing, yeah, to be able to enjoy the game and learn something. So I hope it was a good experience for all of the kids who participated.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Soumya. It was also wonderful having you here, sharing your experience, sharing your expertise, giving tips to all these youngsters of the under 17 and under 14 category. Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining us on One Play
Same
Sports for
here,
the weekend of the
Chaitanya.
under 17 category.
It was a pleasure hosting this tournament with you and interacting with you. Thank you so much for your great company and all the interactions, conversations we had. I think it was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Soumya. And one quick reminder to all our viewers on One Day Sports that please do join us next weekend, because next weekend is going to be the under 14 category finals of boys and girls. And October month
Right.
is chess month. And chess of ISF, the World School Championship Online Chess 2020, where do you get all the live action with expert comments. We have women grandmasters joining us with some brilliant expertise and expert comments. It only on One Play Sports. So please join us next weekend on our Facebook platform and YouTube, and please do follow the Instagram page for all further updates. So that's it from the weekend for the under 17 boys and girls qualification. We'll see you back next weekend for the finals of the under 14 category. That's it from us. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.